I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Boom, there I am. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Good morning. Welcome to Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life. I am not a hostage. I got to tell you guys that every single time I'm in a different location, broadcasting live from a different location. Uh, as I told you guys in the chat, we literally just got off the road. And so we just checked in the hotel and we are still finishing setup with our actual computer. So I've started this stream with my laptop. So that's why we've got, the audio quality and the camera isn't quite up to par. However, we are here. We got a big show ready to go for you guys. First thing I want to ask everybody to do is, if this is your first time, please do me a favor. Hit the like button and subscribe. Trying to help this channel grow. And that is one way that you can do it. Hitting like and subscribing is completely free. And you know what else is free? Sharing this link with somebody else who you think might enjoy some good entertaining content to get their Friday started off the right way. And that's what this show aims to do. We're going to be riding with you all the way through the 9 o'clock hour Eastern time. And as we hit 6 a.m. on every time zone, we're going to say good morning until we've got all of America woken up and ready to get active. So let me go ahead and let you guys know what is on today's show. If I could actually in any way pull up my productivity app, because I like to be productive. Okay, and let's see here. Jimmy, just 1 second. I got my rundown. There we go. All right, yeah, that's right. I'm doing the rundown on my phone, and I'm a seasoned veteran, so I got to enlarge the writing because I don't read like that anymore. I need the big letters. I've upgraded to the large print Bible. Okay, if y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, so let me tell you what's on today's show. So first hour, we're going to have news and other things. Plus, I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview of what the video that's coming out. It's a video review that my wife did of something I never thought we'd be reviewing, but we saw it at HFA, and my wife Naomi did a review of it, and I think you guys might enjoy it. Excuse me. It's kind of like 5 minutes of fitness tech, but since it's 9 minutes long, I can't say it's 5 minutes of fitness tech. So it's 5 minutes of fitness tech plus 4 minutes. All right. So I think you guys will like that. Then we're gonna have news and other things. Plus, we'll have a brand new recliner rage at 6:45, as we always do. I'm gonna tell you guys why I'm mad this week. In the second hour, John Offreda, who is the sales director at Major Fitness, will be joining us to talk about the lessons they learned from HFA, their current and future projects, and also we're gonna talk about maybe I'm going to see if I can get them to divulge any information about what they're going to be taking at Home Gym Con, what they'll have at the Major Fitness booth at Home Gym Con, as well as we're going to refer back to a little topic that came up last year regarding our home gym because of an interview that I did with Joe Gray that I actually played on this show last year. So going to be a good time. And then in the third hour, Michael Brantley, who is USNCC_ counselor on Instagram, got like 152,000 Instagram followers. He's going to be joining us. He's going to be talking about his fitness journey and how getting in shape made him more confident and successful in his professional life as a guidance counselor for United States Naval Community College. And the cool thing about that is I found out about Michael because he posted an Instagram reel showing himself working out while watching this show. So, I had to get him on the show. And anyway, I think that's going to be a good time too. So anyway, now that you know what's going on, as I said, hit the like button, hit subscribe, go ahead and share this link with somebody else. And let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody in the live chat. Let's see who's in the building right now. All right. So first, man, this is the most important part. You guys have some bizarre algorithm that uh, about how you determine who is first or whatever, but I'm just gonna go with who I see first. So Carlos looks like he was first in the building. He said, "Rise and grind for the 61st time. Let's go." And here we go. He says, "I mean, first, hey, look, hey, staying on business, Carlos, staying on business." Then let's see. Let's scroll down, see who's up. Um, I was saying good morning to y'all from the highway because I wasn't sure we'd get here. There's a lot of moving parts today. My guy Jared Martin said good morning. What's up, Jared? I don't see your cup of coffee emoji though. Are you drinking coffee today? What's going on, man? You gotta. There's certain elements of life that I've come to expect from you, and I don't need you. I don't want variables like that. Eric Eccles. Eric has been up since. Once again, Eric gets up so early, it's actually late. He gets up, tells the people closing the clubs that it's okay for them to go to bed, and then he heads off to work at the factory. Says, "Good morning, gents." And the aforementioned Michael Brantley, ED, says, "Morning." I heard that in my Jesse Jackson voice. It's morning time. What's up, man? All right. Mike's going to be on, as I said, Mike's going to be on a little bit later on at the 8 a.m. Eastern time hour, which would probably be, I think that's like 5 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. your time, Mike. So, yeah, we'll be talking to him in a little bit. And let's see, that looks like that's the last comment that we got here. So, as I said, I'm going to let you guys, so I'm going to help my wife finish setting up. And hopefully that means that we'll be switching to a better camera setup, better audio and everything else. More importantly, it's going to give me my additional screen so I can actually see stuff instead of having to squint at my phone to see what I need to be talking about. But in the meantime, check out this review of this product. Hey, there's 566 of you already watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe, every single one of you. Let's keep this train moving because we need all you guys' help in order to get this channel to where it needs to be. All right, so go ahead. And, all right, see, before I do what I was about to do, here goes Home Gym Physique, who, despite showing up fourth, still is declaring that he was first. I don't understand y'all's math. I don't understand your mathematics. I don't even understand how you guys decide that. All I'm gonna say is hi, H-I. That's all I'm saying, and I'm not saying Hawaii. I'm just saying hello, okay? I don't know what y'all got going on. Y'all are hilarious, but I appreciate every one of you being here. Okay, now stand by. Check out this video. Like I said, this is a sneak preview. Our channel members already saw it, or some of our channel members have already seen this. And this is the video that's going to be coming out on Monday. It's the last product that I expected to be reviewing, but you guys check it out. Here you go.
Naomi Greaves, co-founder of Garage Gym Life, and getting back from the HFA 2025 Health and Fitness Expo in Las Vegas. It was really fun, but really, it was a lot. But one of the things that we didn't expect to bump into, and we did, was actually the booth for Bob and Brad. And if you've been watching our channel all this time, you've seen where we've done some reviews. John usually has done some of the reviews on the Bob and Brad recovery massage guns. And so while we were there, we wanted to be able to introduce ourselves to them. And then they introduced another product of theirs. It is a wireless eye massager. And I was kind of skeptical when they first approached us about this, way before the HFA Expo took place. But seeing it live and getting a chance to experience it was quite interesting. It was actually a game changer. So got back home to Georgia, and one of the things that Bob and Brad said is they're found in your local Walmart. So I went onto our Walmart app, looked it up, found which aisle it was in, and went to our local store to go ahead and get my hands on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an unboxing so you can see what actually comes in it. Getting a chance to actually try it out there at the expo. I know what to expect when using it, so I am excited. So this is what's on the outside of the box, and you'll see it is a wireless eye massager. It does use air pressure massage. It does have adjustable heat as well as wireless music experience. That's going to be quite interesting because you know how I like my Bluetooth and also all my gadgets. So look forward to seeing this. All right, one of the other things that it mentions on the box is it does have an adjustable secure strap, long battery life. We'll get a chance to see how long that is. Air pressure massage, wireless music experience, as well as physical buttons. The buttons are actually located on the side here. Now I did get a chance to open up the box, so let's see what's inside. Okay, so you have your quick guide, like a quick get started guide. Of course, your instruction manual, and I'll take a look at that here in a little bit. Looks like your handy dandy little carrying case for it, which will make it easy for like for travel and whatnot. In fact, John and I were talking about how nice it would have been to have this when we were on our flight back from Vegas to Atlanta. And then this is, oh, looks like this is the charging cable that's right in here. Pardon me while I do this with one hand. And then this looks like it's actually holding the mask. So let's see. All right, so I got it out of the bag. It's easier to do with two hands than just with one hand. So went ahead and did the magic of unwrapping this. And right away what I noticed is it does collapse. So that's how it'll fit into the travel bag. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like ski goggles or VR goggles. It looks like it has a USB port here where you would plug it in. USB-C is what it looks like there. So it's for charging. So convenient. Also, here are the buttons. So you have a power button. It looks like it's a heat and massage button, top and bottom. And then it looks like a speaker or like a Bluetooth. So I'll get a chance to play with that also. Here are the adjustable straps. And go ahead and give it a try here in just a second. But I do want to take a quick look at the manual just to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Oh, it does give a disclaimer. Do not use the device for more than 20 minutes each time. Okay. So once it turns off, don't fall asleep with it. Got it. I'm looking forward to this. So let's see. I'm going to turn it on.
Bob and Brad eye massager is on. Air pressure plus heat plus music.
Oh, let me turn it off first.
Goodbye.
Okay. I think I need to have it on first because it went straight into it. So here we go. Got to test these out for the people. Okay, so now here is the button.
Bob and Brad eye massager is on. Air pressure plus heat plus music.
So with the pressure, it first starts like at your sinus. Then it starts working with your temple. Starting to warm up. And it'll get like right in like your orbital sockets to add like that pressure, but I love when it's at the temple. And it's nice and warm. It's not like hot or anything like that. It's definitely relaxing. And it kind of feels, if anyone's ever had like a head massage, you know, when they take your thumbs and they rub into your temple, that's what that pressure feels like, and it feels so good, so good. Or when they like they rub right along the top part of your eye socket or the orbital bone. but also you can feel this, like the pressure, and it's like not quite pulsing, but it's like you can definitely feel like it kind of like shifts right there, your sinus. This would probably be really good, especially like if you ever have like any kind of tension headache, or like I work in front of my computer screens minimum 8 hours, but on to be realistic, about 10 hours a day, maybe more. And also don't forget, you know, with cell phones, again, you're looking at blue light, blue screen. You do get eye fatigue. So this would be a great way to kind of take an end of the day break, or even just like when you take your lunch break, dedicating some time just to kind of rest your eyes. Definitely. And it's actually doing like a gradual pressure just now. And what I like is it's air pressure. So you don't have to like worry about it pressing in too tight or too hard. Because I mean, again, it's your eyes and the around your eyes. So you have to be very careful with that. But it's definitely good. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Because I'm going to enjoy more of this, but not from a standing position. I will fall down, but definitely worth the investment. Again, they do have this at your Walmart. If you want to see if it is at your local Walmart, go to the Walmart app and you can type in Bob and Brad, and it will tell you whether it's in stock or not, and it'll tell you exactly which aisle it's located. So get your hands on one. It's definitely worth it. So thanks so very much, guys. Have a great one.
Test, 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 test. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? There's gains in the chat. All right. One more time, guys. Let me know if you can hear me. Sorry about that. That should have fixed the problem. Boom. Eric echoes. Yo, my man. All right. So, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. We literally got off the road and jumped right into action. We back. All right. So let's see so first of all, what did you guys, let me go back and I want to hear what you guys think of the product itself. So let's go back up here. So Home Gym Physique said, eye massager for when you're squatting 1,000 pounds. You know, I'm going to tell you that thing, first of all, that thing was so comfortable that it's like kind of like when you're massaging your temples, but it's like all over. I was like, this is amazing. And I'm telling you, it's the last thing that I expected to even want to use, because I had zero interest in the eye massager. They'd actually reached out to us about doing a review of it, and I was like, I don't feel like that's something that's not interested, right? And well, they were super eager when they saw us at HFA, because we're walking by and I said, hey, I really like the massage guns that you guys sent us. And they got excited and like said, oh, we want to show you something else. I was like, you're a little too excited. Try to relax and show it to me on yourself first. But yeah, it turned out pretty well. That video, like I said, is coming out on Tuesday. So yeah, I think you guys will like it. Let's see. And yes, that's one reason why I like the way my wife does reviews, because she does, like, the way she does them is the same way that she teaches when she's teaching classes or teaching the people she supervises at work. And she just like, it's very calming. It's like, so it's good. I like it because it's a completely different vibe from me. As you guys can imagine, I'm a little bit more energetic, as you can tell. Now you said, I bet that will be expensive. You talking about the eye massager? Well, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if you're in the UK or not, Home Gym Physique. So I don't know what it is, how much it costs overseas, but over here it's like $45. It's available at Walmart, and I think it's literally I think it's like $45. So we've got, what I'll do is I'll add to the video description. Let me see if I can actually find it. I'll give you guys the link. What you have to do is go on your Walmart app and look up Bob and Brad, and then you can and it'll find a Walmart location near you. Unfortunately, you cannot just order it online. Well, I mean, maybe you can, but as far as we know, you can't order it online. They even told us, like, there's no affiliate link or anything else. It's just you need to find your search for Bob and Brad on your Walmart app, see if it's in stock. And then you can, or they do have a Walmart store locator, and you can go on there and and you got to enter your zip code, and it'll tell you like where the nearest Walmart is to, that should have the eye massager in stock. So there's that, but it's $44, $44 US. All right. So let's see here. Oh yeah. Okay. So I thought you were UK, but it's funny because it's not because of what you said on here. I was watching something else and I saw you in the pop up in the comments, and I believe you said it there. So that's just crazy. It's like, it's one of the things I like about the YouTube content creation space, but it's also something to keep in mind, is that it's a relatively small community of people who tend to like the same kind of content. And so if you watch me, you probably watch Garage Gym Radio. If you watch Garage Gym Radio, you probably watch Kaizen DIY. Now, there's some people who watch those other channels who don't watch me, and whatnot. But you know what I'm saying? There's a fair amount of overlapping. And so I always try to keep that in mind, so Yeah, there you go. Like I said, it's literally 45. So full disclosure, we pay for it. Like we actually, I think Naomi said even says in the video, we got home, and she's not joking. She got home. I'm resting from the trip because I was getting ready to go have to do something else, and she went to Walmart and bought that gadget, and so yeah, so it's literally 45 $45. All right. So anyway, there's the link. I dropped the link in the live chat. If you're watching on replay, the link will be in the description for this show, for this episode. So you guys can just go on there and look, or you can just Google Walmart, and it'll pull up the store, a store locator for you. Find that store, go in there, see if it's got it, and it's now Walmart might ship it to you, but I'm just saying I don't think you can buy it directly off the Bob and Brad website, and they may or may not have it on Amazon. But there you go. All right, let's move on. Okay, so Eric says he's already checked. It's free shipping if he orders it, so he could order it online at Walmart. So yeah, go ahead, do that, man. Hey, I'm telling you, that thing it's very nice. All right. So what I like, because I'm looking at computer screens all the time, what I like using it for is after I've been looking at computer screens for a while, I put it on and I use it. You're only supposed to use it for like 20 minutes, and then I have it on, and then I go to bed after that. So there's the star of the show. She said, "Do not put me on camera." So there we go. Let me turn that. All right. There you go. You're off camera now. Anyway, if y'all don't hear from me again, she's the culprit. I'm telling you now. All right. Anyway, let's see here. But yeah. So yeah, you could. So apparently, you can order it online at Walmart, and they will ship it to you. They're saying, baby, they said that they thought it would be more expensive than $45. And it's like, yeah, it's really inexpensive.
Oh, dang it. I left it in the car.
The eye massager?
Yes.
Oh, well. Y'all see the chaos. She left the eye massager in the car. All right. Anyway, just remember, you're not muted. They can hear you. Anything you do, they can hear you because they got to be able to hear me. All right. So anyway, all right, that's it. All right, let's move on to the next item because we're now at 6:30 and we're running out of time for all the other stuff. So the first news item, that was a news item. I guess it's a sneak peek. Technically, it's news. But the first news item I have is from Kinsui. I guess that's how you say it. Kinsui Fitness. They have their landmine handle is on sale, and the sale ends today. So if you wanna grab that, take advantage of it. It is today's your day. So let me pull it up right now. First screen share of the day. No thanks, not interested. All right. So I've already signed up for their newsletter, so I don't want to sign up twice. So this is the landmine basic handle. If you've never seen it, it basically slides over the end of the barbell sleeve. All right, it is 15. So the part that goes over your sleeve is 15 centimeters long, and the other part, the handle itself, is 30 centimeters. The entire thing is 30 centimeters long, and 15 centimeters of that is the part that goes over the barbell sleeve. So it looks like that. So you guys may be able to see that part goes over the end of the barbell sleeve, and then you got a handle in your hand. It's made out of steel, and they say that it will support up to 400 pounds. Apparently the grip has a comfort grip, so that looks like maybe some sort of foam on this part, on the handle itself. And like I said, it's easy installation. You slide it over the end of the sleeve. I don't think from what I could tell from the pictures, I don't think there's any kind of like screw clamp to hold it in place, which is something I personally wouldn't want because that might damage the end of your barbell sleeve. Of course, you could always just use a beater bar, but I don't think this has that. So I guess it's not kind of irrelevant since it doesn't have it anyway. And anyway, there you go. So there's this intrepid home gym owner / guy who got paid to take the picture with no shirt on, and he is using it set up in a corner. So that's essentially how this thing works. And it is just $29. which if you don't have $29 is possible to pay in 4 interest-free payments on Shop Pay or PayPal. So that's also available. It is only available in the UK, the EU, Canada, and the USA. So Kevin, if you're watching right now, sorry, it's not available in Japan just yet. But maybe if you reach out to him, which is crazy, because it's Kinsui, which sounds like an Asian name, you would think that they'd have it available, but whatever. In fact, I think, Kevin, if you are watching, I think you should go off. You should contact him and just go off. All right. But yeah, anyway, that's it right there. So I think it's I think that's it's a decent product. I'm still kind of two minds about whether I like that better than I like the Exponent Edge landmine bar. Because the Exponent Edge landmine bar, you kind of like install on your rack. But at least with this, you don't have to worry about different, you don't have, so like think about it, like if you're inserting one end of the barbell sleeve into like a landmine holder, that so it's basically it's in the two sleeves are inserted into holders on either side. That's a lot of moving parts, but it is what it is. All right, so if you guys are interested in that, the link to check it out is going to be in the video description, and you can do that. Or I will here. This is not affiliate, it's non-sponsored, but I will just, because I'm a nice guy, boom, there it is. It's right there in the live chat for anybody who is interested in checking it out. All right, so there you go. All right, next item. We're going to be live. I'm going to keep saying it until you believe it. We are going to be live at Home Gym Con, and I will have more than 20 minutes. We actually got everything set up. I think my wife did most of the work, to be honest with you, because I got up here and I had to go live to let you guys know what was going on. But we're going to be live from Home Gym Con Friday morning, and we are going to be doing a giveaway, or we're going to be doing giveaways. So I need to know how many people are going to be there. So I need you guys to sign up. Right now, we have not nearly enough. We got 7 people who said they're going to be here. They're going to be at Home Gym Con at our show. And I'm saying, if you even think you're going to Home Gym Con, go ahead and RSVP. I'm going to give you the link to go to Sign Up Genius and RSVP. And I want you guys there because there's a number of reasons why it benefits you. But how it benefits me is because, number one, I need to know how many raffle tickets I need to bring. Okay. I don't want to bring, mess around and not bring enough. And I also want to make sure that we have enough giveaways so that it's worth your time, right? We currently have Will from Homegrown Lifting is going to be there. He's going to be doing a giveaway. Mike from Micro Gain is going to be there. He's doing a giveaway. And David Dennis from Gorilla Strength is going to be there. And he's giving away one of our Garage Gorilla bars. So don't miss the live show. It's to your benefit. And if you even think you're going to be there, I realize that there's potential that you guys will stay up late in the bar and you might not make it, but just on the off chance that you might be there, go ahead and go to Sign Up Genius and sign up to be there. So I'm going to go ahead. That link is in the video description right now, and I'm pasted it right here in the live chat as well. So I got all these links in the live chat for you guys, but yeah. That's because I really want to see you guys there. I think this is an awesome opportunity to do something different. The whole point of Home Gym Con, is to check out equipment, but it's also to kind of like, one of the things we give up willingly when we decide to work out in a home gym environment is we lose that social network of the gym culture, right? Basically, you don't have the people that you see every day at the gym who encourage you. That's like your third place. So you got home, work, and then the gym is your third place that you go all the time. So you lose that. I remember when I was working in a public gym, the people from the gym were my friends. Those are the people I hung out with because it was work and it was my third place. So I honestly didn't know anybody. I knew very few people who didn't work out at the gym. Let's just put it like that. Well, you give that up if you work out in a home gym environment. And so what Home Gym Con does for you is it helps give you back that sense of community, being able to hang out with people who are like-minded. And I want to expand on that, take it a step further by doing the show live so that, we can kind of connect even more. And I just think it'd be an awesome thing. Want to see you guys there. So that's that opportunity. Also, we're thinking about having merch for sale at the live show, which will benefit me because then we don't have to worry about shipping. It's just right that we just bring a bunch of it with us, and then you guys can buy it, and I don't have to ship it anywhere. All right, but there you go. Anyway, go to Sign Up Genius and sign up. All right, now there is Elite FTS sent me an email. I said it like they only sent it to me. Elite FTS sent out an email saying they're giving a free virtual seminar. And I've got to warn you now, I've got the link, but this link apparently sends you to a survey. But if you do the survey, then you fill out the survey, and then you can get the live, the virtual seminar. It's not live. You get the virtual seminar. The thing about the virtual seminar is it's talking about nutrition strategies for putting on muscle. And I think that is pretty much worthwhile. So I am a fan of that. I'm a fan of putting on muscle. I assume you are too, or else why would you be here? And so I want to give you guys that opportunity. So, but I'm not just going to spam you guys. So if you're interested, if anybody says they're interested in checking that out, remember, it takes you to a survey because it's a free seminar, so they got to get something out of it. They want to get your data, right? So it's a free survey. So if you are interested in that, let me know and I will post that. It's not in the video description yet, but if I see enough interest, I will post that link in the video description. There's not a deadline as far as I can tell, and you guys can go ahead and click that link and then, watch the seminar at your leisure, whatever. All right. But that's it. Now, let me look. I'm looking for the next item here. Freak athlete. All right. So now for the next item. There, Kevin. All right. So hold on. Let's go here. Now, baby, I'm not starting drama. I just want you to know. Okay, maybe I did start this one because I said, Kevin, you should go off. But it's injustice. I'm standing strong against injustice. It's a Japanese name, and I would assume the company's Japanese, but the product is not available in Japan. So that's unfair to Kevin. Okay. And I'm for Kevin. Okay. Because I'm for my listeners. I'm for my viewers. Yeah. Let's stand up for standing up for what's right. That's what Garage Life is all about. So Kevin says, bro, I almost went off on them already because of the Swissies. The Japanese website was glitchy and it keeps messing up with the total price. Ken Sui, do better. Yeah, do better, Ken Sui. You know what? That's Recline Our Rage next week. I will go off in greater detail next week, just on your behalf, Kevin. In fact, if you want, Kevin, I'll let you come on and you could go off because we've done guest rage before. I don't mind if you're mad and you want a safe space to go off completely. In fact, if you all of a sudden just start going off in Japanese during the show, I'm okay with that. Like if you start in English, then you get so mad, you go off into Japanese, maybe switch into Tagalog or whatever. That's fine by me. I'm good with that. Keep it clean, however, in case we got Japanese kids listening to the show. Okay? But yeah, you can come on next week. And he said, Kensui is in fact Japanese. I knew it. My instincts are spot on. It means pull up. Huh. Nice. Okay. I'm pretty sure Kensui is not how you pronounce. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but it looked like a Japanese name. So there we go. All right. So now let's go to the next item. And this is a shout out. I am pretty 6:41. We got time. So I'm pretty, y'all know I go off about companies that do it wrong quite often. And so I feel like I need to give a shout out, and I need to recognize companies when they do it right. Now, I got an email. Once again, it wasn't just me, but it felt like it was just me. You know what I mean? Because of the way they wrote it. But Freak Athlete included me in their emails. So basically, they sent out one of their, I believe it's a Nordic Hyper Pro. Let's see. Let's make sure. Yeah. So they sent out the Hyper Pro with the GHD attachment and the leg developer attachment, upper body bundle, right? So those all got shipped out to me. So I was then included in a list of customers that they sent this next email to, and this is why I'm giving them a shout out. So I got this email yesterday. It says, "Hey there, we're reaching out with a quick note about a small issue we noticed in a recent production batch. Over the past 2 years, we've sold thousands of units without any issues, but in this particular batch, we identified 2 where the weld on the green adjustment knob wasn't up to standard, causing it to come loose. We've already taken care of those customers by sending a replacement basis, and while it appears to be an isolated issue, we'd rather be safe than sorry. To double check that everything is solid on your end, all you need to do is give the green knob a firm tug. If the weld is affected, it would likely come off very easily. If it holds firm as it should, no further action is needed. On the off chance that yours is affected, we'll send you a replacement base right away. We expect this won't be an issue for you, but we appreciate you helping us make sure. Being proactive here is just part of how we aim to take care of our customers. Thanks for giving it a quick check." I cannot begin to say how cool I think that is. That, number one, they recognized the issue. They didn't wait until there's a huge uproar on Instagram. They didn't wait until they got backlash in the Discord. They didn't wait for any of that. Instead, as soon as they recognized it, they corrected the issue with their customers, and then now they're proactively reaching out to their other customers, me, to say, "Hey, this is the issue we've noticed. We don't think you'll be affected, but on the off chance that you are affected, here's what we want to do to take care of you." I mean, how can you not like that? I mean, for real. That to me is the epitome. It's the epitome of the kind of customer service that's just taking care of the people who are taking care of you. If you think about it, your customers are the reason you have a business. Your customers are the reason you can pay your employees. Your customers are the reason, heck, it's the reason you can afford to pay your bills, right? At the most basic level, your customers take money away from what they could be using to pay their mortgage, their light bill, their rent for the month, their food, something for their kids, and they give that money to you in exchange for a product, which then enables you to be able to pay your mortgage, pay for your insurance, pay for gas for your car. You know what I mean? Your customers are your lifeline. So it always baffles me when companies don't take care of their customers. That's why I'm like, whenever I say recliner of rage, I'm always like, why? This doesn't even make sense to me that you would act this way when we're your customers, we're your lifeline, right? And speaking of rage, guess what time it is? It's time for your favorite segment. That's right, Recliner of Rage. Let's go. It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
So I am oops. Let's see here. I lost my headphones. Boom. All right. There we go. All right. So I debated about whether or not to make this a recliner rage, but it does bother me. So I'm going to go off about it. Here we go. First of all, what I'm not going off about is there 1,118 of you watching. I appreciate you guys being here. You're getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. And please do me a favor, hit like and hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. We're trying to get the channel to keep on growing. Got a lot of momentum, and we want to keep that momentum going. And if you've already subscribed, do me a favor, take a second, do what Jared Martin did, and share this video link with someone who you think might enjoy this kind of content. Okay? All right. Now, recliner rage. Here's where I'm at. I cannot stand, I've said something about this in the past briefly, but I hate it when you get something, you ever order something that's a home gym product and you get it when it arrives, it's obvious that the person who made it isn't a lifter. Like they made it as if they watched a video of somebody using a similar product, or they saw a picture of a similar product and they're like, hey, you know what'd be cool if I made one of these too? And then they made it, right? But they don't actually ever use it. And I've encountered, last year I saw a bunch of them, and this year I've already seen multiple. I know three just jumped into my head. Three off the top of my head right now. Examples of products where it's like, it looks like an engineer made the product, but they don't, either the engineer doesn't lift, or, which is already, that's fine if you don't lift yourself, but you need to get somebody to test it, right? So it's obvious that somebody made the product and then they never had it tested by someone who's an actual lifter. Looks to me like they made a product and then they just kind of made sure that it fit design specs. Okay. No Fate. What's up, Jonathan? Checking in. What's up, my man? So that really bothers me because it's the kind of thing that you do when you don't care about your customer. And let me give an example. This is, and in fact, yeah, I'll give you an example. I'll come back to that. So I told you guys about that shoulder rehab device, right? I mentioned it on here and I was mad about that product specifically. But think about it, like it's supposed to be for athletes. Well, it's sized for somebody who's primarily like, I don't know, a runner. Why is a runner? I'm not saying runners don't lift weights, but I'm just saying, are runners likely to have shoulder issues? No, it's going to be somebody who, like a football player or something like that, right? Well, it's too small for them. So when you're sewing the thing or whatever you're doing, at some point, shouldn't you say, hey, Carlos, you're kind of big. Come over here and try this on, see if it fits you. Oh, it doesn't fit. Maybe we should make more than one size. Like literally, it didn't occur to anybody. Maybe we should make more than one size. And when I reached out to the company, they're like, nah, we just have one size. And I said, well, what should I do? They said, well, we got some extenders, but they probably won't work. That is literally what they told me in the email. They probably won't work. I had every intention of approaching them at HFA because they were there. I just ran out of time. But I took it with me because I was going to walk up to them and be like, hey, man, put this on. I want to see if it fits any of you because the dang sure doesn't fit me. I want my money back. Yeah, that would have been nice if they just handed me my money like right then and there. Crisp bills, right? But that's just irritating. what is borderline dangerous is when it happens on something that's like a power rack. And I've seen that way too many times. There's a brand that makes a power rack that's got a functional trainer attachment. And because of where they put the plate, the trolley for the plates, the trolley with the weight horns, you can't squat inside the rack at all. You just absolutely can't. That's fine. There are other power racks where you can't squat inside the rack. But I'm just saying, it's just like if they would just move it back where it's a lat pull down low row, and where it is should be further back. If they moved it back another, say, 15 inches, right? There'd be enough room for that. And you'd have room to be able to use the inside of the power rack, right? Which is side note. I realize that I just said that there are other power racks where you can't use the inside of the power rack. But honestly, the point of a power rack is to protect you from hurting yourself while you're trying to get, while you're training. So it doesn't make sense to me to have a power rack and then not be able to use the power rack to protect yourself. Now it's just a glorified squat rack. Well, now it's a glorified squat stand, right? Because you're going to put like spotter arms on the front, and those aren't ideal. Additionally, a power rack is designed so that you can use it to get stronger. So you can do like, say, mid-range work. So maybe your sticking point is halfway up. Well, you can do some overload work using the safety bars, right? You can't do that with the racks I'm describing. So again, they're glorified squat stands. I don't like those personally, but I know that that's some people's cup of tea. I'm just saying, if an engineer actually used the product, they'd be like, oh, this doesn't fit. Like, you can't put a human body in here and actually use this thing. So maybe we should go ahead and move this back a little bit. I keep going that direction, and it goes off camera. Maybe we should go back a little bit further so we can actually use this thing in a functional way. But that will require actually caring about your customer. I realized that what Tim from Gymcraft just said, a lot of these companies are in China, and so they don't really care. They don't care that you're not going to be happy, because you're unlikely to be able to sue them, because you're not, unless you're in China with them. But come on, man. You spend all that time getting your engineering degree. Shouldn't you take a little bit of pride in your work? I mean, this is how I'm wired. I take pride in what I do. I don't like even this setup, right? My wife and I were upset about the fact that we had to tell you that we were running late, because we take pride in starting on time. We take pride in not missing a show. We take pride in providing you with a quality product. I get irritated with anything that interferes with my ability to give you a quality product, and my product is my content. I take pride in my product. So if you're an engineer, your product is whatever gadget, widget, whatever you designed. If it's a bridge, you should have a bridge that people look at and like, man, that's an engineering marvel. That's a well-designed bridge. You're not just going to put up something, well, hopefully, you're not just going to put up something janky for everybody to, admire. Why would you want to do that with something that's supposed to keep people alive? I just don't understand that. And it's irritating, because I'm like, there's no way you don't care about, I guess there is. You just don't care. You definitely don't care about your customer. And then it's slightly more irritating when the product is sent out to us and we're like supposed to do a review. And I'm like, so you understand, you should have known when you sent it to me that you're not going to get a positive review. So it's always interesting when they're surprised when they get a bad review. I'm like, but that tells me again, you didn't use it. Like if let's say you don't use the product, you send it to me, you don't use the product, you see my review and it's a negative review. The next step is for you to go run on downstairs to the warehouse and say, hey, get one of those out of the box, put it together. I want to see if this guy's telling the truth. Does this actually suck? But I don't always get that kind of feedback. Sometimes they're like, maybe a little bit harsh. Yeah, because it's a little bit suck. Whatever, man. Just do better. Just do better. I'm trying to phrase this a little bit nicer, but I feel like you should take steps to stop being a functional waste of oxygen, figure out how to create worthwhile products rather than contributing to the landfill waste across the globe with your steady churn out of brightly painted metallic trash. Just do better. Just do better. All right, so we got my guy. Okay, so we got John Offreda. John is saying he's having an issue with getting the link. So hang on a second. Let me send John the link one more time. Send this to him. Sometimes when I'm sending these links out, I embed them. So you have to be able to see the link. Like it'll say like, hey, click here. And you have to know that you have to click the word here because I embedded the link and sometimes people can't see it. So let me go ahead and add right there. Okay, so there we go. So it looks like he messaged me here. Okay. Hey, John. So I'll message him now. Check your email. I just resent it. Bam. All right. Go ahead and add him to my thing. All right. All right. So now I know that John is having some issues, but so John Offreda from Major Fitness should be joining us in a second. Hopefully he's able to get all squared away. We'll get him going and do this. So if you guys have any questions at all for Major Fitness, go ahead and start lining them up in the chat now. Hey, he made it. I can see him. He's happy, smiling, more bearded than me. Everything you could want in a podcast guest. All right, so you guys go ahead and start putting your questions for Major Fitness in the chat, and we will tee him up for John as we always do. But right now, let's go ahead and give John a warm welcome. It's his first time on the show. John Offreda. And let me check my audio because I can't not hear you at all. Let's see here.
Let's see.
Headphones. For some
I can hear
reason,
you okay.
Not letting me hear you. All right. 1 second. It's probably on my end. One second here. Let's make sure I'm not plugged into the microphone jack. All right, so that's no. All right, headphone. There we go. Test. Let me test this out. I don't know why. It is not accepting. It's not recognizing my headphones. So Give me 1 second, John. I apologize. Make sure these are the right ones. Gonna swap to those. Yeah, let's see here. What's this right here? All right. Whoa. Hey, John, can you say something?
Hey, John, can you hear me? I can hear you okay.
No. It keeps on defaults into the other headphones. Yeah, it's not picking this up at all. If I have to, I'll switch over to the I'll switch over back over to the laptop. I'm sorry, John. Just 1 second. All right.
You're good.
Oh, we still got to plug in here. So let's unplug this because that's confusing things, I think. Which was it? No, it's not picking it up. It's back to the. It is not giving me any audio at all. None. All right. This is fantastic. All right, so we're gonna do this. Over to here, studio, and I'll be able to hear you through here. We have to correct that before the settings. So let's go ahead here. Mic's working. Hey, this is me on the side. All right, John, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me. All right, good. So,
Yes.
so I'm going to remove this guy. My
There we
additional. You're like, are you teaming up on me? What's going on here? Why you? Hey, the Clone Wars, man. It's the Clone Wars. All right, so there we go. This is like all over the place. This has been a day. So we actually got off the highway about an hour ago and like came straight in the hotel and started just plugging stuff in to try to get this going. Because so yesterday around this time I was in California,
Where are you now?
Virginia Beach.
Oh, okay. So on East Coast.
Yeah, so we drove from California. I'm sorry. Monday I was in Georgia. Tuesday, I left Georgia and drove to California with my son and helping him set up his home gym. In fact, you guys, it's the son who you guys are sending the unit to. All right.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so we got him. So he's got a bar, bumper plates, and stuff like that, and he's waiting for the rack. And then, anyway, then the next morning, got on a plane, flew back to Georgia so I could get in. And my wife picked me up at the airport, and then we got stuck in the worst traffic ever, but normal Atlanta traffic, basically. And then, so we got delayed getting back to the house, packed up the car, and then drove to Virginia Beach. And we got off the road about
So where's your coffee then? You're gonna need a few of these.
No, I have no coffee. I didn't even have to make it in that. We got here at 5:38 and started the show. Like it just started going, right? So
Wow.
we gotta make it happen, right?
Absolutely.
My wife says she deserves an MVP trophy.
I totally agree with her. Totally agree with her.
Yay. All right. So this is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be looking this way so I can look at the comments and pull them
No
up on the
worries.
screen. But I'll be looking this way to talk to you. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right. So let's go ahead and let me do this one thing here. Get my media asset because this is going to bother me. It probably bothers nobody else, but there we go. I just changed the logo so it's easier to see. All right, man. Look, you got a chance to look over the questions I sent you, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right. So I don't want to feel like I'm picking on you. Like, what is this? It's a pop quiz. What is this? All right, man. So we met at the HFA trade show in Vegas 2 weeks ago, and I appreciate you guys taking time to show me around your booth and everything else. Okay. So Jared, that's actually on the list of questions. There you go. All right, that's actually on the list of questions. So we're here, Jared. We're here. All right. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to take us on a booth tour. That tour is available here on the channel if you guys have not seen it. And in fact, I'll put the link in the video description so that you can watch it after this is over. And for those of you guys who are watching on replay, it'll be available for you as soon as you pull it up. So it's in the video description. But during that process, we spent a lot of time talking about equipment, right? So to begin, per Jared's question, I want to talk a little bit about Major Fitness, the brand, this time.
Absolutely.
So, as Jared requested, let's just, without further ado, give me a little bit of a little brief timeline history, and also what's the deal with Major Ludi versus Major Fitness? Because even the badge still said Major Ludi, but you guys are obviously Major Fitness now. So explain to me the idea. Is it a rebrand or just what's going on with that?
No, that's actually a great question. So just to kind of start off a little bit and give some context, Major Fitness is only about, I think, are you still there, John? I think I lost you.
No, I can see you.
Okay. I don't see you anymore. That's why.
No, I made you. This is important. You got the solo screen. I'm not important. They don't hear from me. They hear from me all the time.
Got it. So basically, Major Fitness is only, if I'm correct, 4 years old. We started in 2021. Okay. So the company is evolving. The company started from the founder's father, who's a retired Navy officer. And, as time was going by, he saw he wasn't inactive. He started to, make up pieces of fitness equipment for him. His father took a liking to it. And actually people started, or, that knew him started like, hey, can you make this for me? Can you make this for me? And that's how Major Fitness essentially was created. Lute is our founder's father's name. And that's why we were originally called Major Lute, because he started creating this equipment for his father, who's a retired Navy officer.
So then step one, we've all been pronouncing it wrong. Instead of Major Lute.
By the way, I might be pronouncing it wrong as well too. Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
So I don't know if it's Major Lute. I'm bad with pronunciations.
So we got a lot of guesses out there. Okay, that's fine.
Yes. Okay. But the reason why it doesn't matter, but the reason why it doesn't matter is because we changed it to Major Fitness. And, a lot of people ask, well, if he's a retired Navy officer, why are all your equipment, aircrafts? And that is simply because our founder really loves the Air Force. He loves the planes. He has like a liking to that. So he still stuck with the whole, military theme, but he just wanted to go after, aircrafts like the B-52, the C-5, things like that.
Okay. So, now that I know that the company is Major Fitness, you see I updated your headline. So
yes,
right there.
Yes, there we go.
I was like, who is this guy? Where does he work? It's like, did you ever watch the show Martin? Are you old enough to remember the show Martin?
I think I'm older than you, John. So yes, I know the show.
How old are you?
I'm 45.
When I was 6, you were a newborn.
Okay. Well, you look good because I thought I was older than you.
Juices and berries. But yeah, so the show Martin, there's a character called Tommy, and nobody knew where Tommy worked. And he said, man, I work in that white building over there. Like, what?
I remember.
Yeah, so I was like, where does this guy work? But anyway, so let's see, we already got a couple questions in here. So Carp said it was Major Lute. That's how I'm going. That's what I'm calling it from now on. Okay, Major Lute, because it sounds right.
It could be very wrong though.
Yeah. And let's see, Carp Jim said naval aviators. Top Gun taught us that at least. That's right. That's right. So, with that being said, you guys decided to make the switch over. Was it
Mhm.
difficult actually? Because you spent time building brand recognition. I know this wasn't a question I
Mhm.
asked you, but I was like, you spent all that time making or building
Mhm.
up brand recognition. Now you switch to another name. Has that been like a hiccup or anything like that? And
Not
also,
really.
you got
Oh,
to
go ahead.
change. Like, did you have to change websites? Did you have to change like URLs? What about the your social media handles? Did you have to
Mhm.
change any of that?
So one thing that, and I think people are recognizing this, especially when they actually engage with us, is we're a very transparent company. Okay. So our headquarters in the US are in New Jersey. And if I'm correct, no one has been part of the US company longer than 7 months. Okay. And that includes myself.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm saying that is anything before that, it's only what we've learned, what we've heard from the company. And the reason I say we're very transparent is we're making a major shift. We now have a headquarters in New Jersey for the US office. Okay, we're now launching new products. We're launching basically a different go to market, where we want to hear from our customers. As you saw at the HFA, the way we were engaging with customers, we wanted feedback. So everything prior to that, it's kind of, we're not too familiar with that. What I can tell you was, yes, people were a little confused, but going forward, since everyone from the US office is fairly new, it's kind of like, oh, Major Fitness, that's great. We get the occasional question that, when I go to your website, I type in Major Fitness, sometimes it says major-lute.com. And that's kind of like, oh, why is that? We explained to them, like we told you, that was the company was called based on the founder's father. And that's usually about a 10-second conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that does make sense.
Mm,
And it's a nice, simple explanation. It's not like you're like it's not something nefarious or underhanded. So that works.
mm.
Um, so according to your website, your first product was your Smith machine.
Yes, the PLM3.
Okay, and then you had so the PLM3 was a Smith machine.
No, no, sorry, that's correct. That was born out of the first one. That was the Smith machine. Sorry.
Okay, so you had the Smith machine, then you had the PLM3, which was a power rack, right? And
Yes,
that came out right before the Raptor F22, which I actually
you own that one, right?
I had it. Oh
You
man, I
had
don't
okay.
remember when I had it. It was I think it was sometime last year. Maybe yeah, early last year. Um,
Mhm.
but I tried it in my home gym. But then you guys also came out with the F35, which is a folding wall rack, correct?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So I say all that to say, talk about the progression. First of all, the idea
Hmm.
that you started with the Smith machine as opposed
Hmm.
to starting with a power rack. That's like it's like you went more complex, then backed
Hmm.
off a little bit, then say, hey, let's level up and went to the folding rack. So
Hmm.
talk about the progression in like terms of product development. Like, hey, why go with this, then that?
Yeah, that's actually a really simple
How did
question.
that evolutionary process? How did
We
that
we
evolutionary process occur?
we were a new company, so we kind of like just saw what worked. Sometimes you got to step back. Sometimes you realize maybe you jumped in a little too far ahead, or you just listen to the market engagement and what people are saying. The way that I like to describe it is, we're all in fitness, so we all understand everything associated with the fitness industry. So I always compare it to like a supplement company. When a supplement company comes out, you got the ones that come out with like three products: creatine, protein, and like caffeine pills, or, beta alanine. And then next thing you know, they have a complex line of like 30 different products, really complex formulas, things like that. Then you have other companies that come out there like, no, we're going to start with the complex, and then their customers are like, yeah, but we just want our creatine and we just want our beta alanine or pre-workout. We're the same thing. We've only been in business since 2021. So it's kind of like, hey, this is what we thought we should start with. And then we actually listen to our customers and we're like, okay, so we start with that Smith machine and the power rack, got some feedback. That's when the PLM3 came out. When the PLM3 came out, and this is something that I went back and looked at, apparently, even companies like, I think it was Rep and Rogue, came out with something like that a year and a half after us. So
Hmm.
it wasn't that we were like, hey, we were the first. It was kind of like we just entered the market and tried this and see what happened. And then we were like, oh,
Gotcha.
this is actually pretty cool. This is what people want over maybe, just a plain old Smith machine, or the power rack that we had. And then we were basically validated because then the bigger companies came up with something like that a year after us. Does that make
So
sense? I want to make sure I was clear on that.
yeah. But I'm
Yeah.
also saying like, all right. So you realize that that's what customers wanted. Obviously, you guys weren't the ones to invent the power rack.
No,
We already
absolutely
know,
not.
but I'm just saying like you saw what customers like. So would you say that your power racks took inspiration from what you saw out there, and
Yeah,
you like try to put your spin on it?
I wouldn't say put a spin on because, like you said, Power Rack, it's not like we were the creators and it's anything new,
Yeah.
but it's like anything. When you enter the market, you know, think about it. You might create a product and it just bombs totally. You know what I mean? You think you have high hopes for it. Complete opposite. You might be like, listen, I just want something entry level, and it takes off. So it was kind of like, this is what we thought, people will like. People did like it. We got some feedback. All right. We're like, and that's when we came up with the PLM um, 3, because we are like, let's add some pulleys into it. And we
Right.
kind of looked out there and we were getting a lot of feedback. The one thing that, you're going to hear me say on this show, probably like a broken record, okay, is we actually listen to feedback. Like, I want to tell you a few things when we get to this part in the show about what we heard from HFA that,
Yeah.
what is it? It's been 3 weeks since HFA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 weeks.
Our design team is already starting to send us mock-ups of things that our customers were asking about.
Oh, nice.
And like, you've been in the industry. Have you ever heard a company like actually listen to feedback and within 3 weeks start actually sending mock-ups?
Not 3 weeks and sending that. That's
Exactly.
pretty
Like,
rapid. Yeah.
yes. So we're all about, we want to understand what's going on in the industry. We want to listen to our market, our customers, and our prospective customers, and we actually want to address their concerns.
Okay. So let's see. Hey Jake, it was great to meet. Hang on, let's see here. So this is from Jake with Home Gym Con and
Okay.
Garage Gym Radio, and so I'm assuming he's talking to you, even though he says John. But Jake, I've never told you this. It was great to meet you too. Hi. So let me say, it looks to me like you're saying you listen to the feedback, right? To me, the Raptor F22, even the version that I tried,
Mhm.
was an upgrade from the PLM3, which is funny because when I did the review of the Raptor F22, people were like, who liked the PLM3 were talking about how great the PLM3 was, and like, well, why,
Mhm.
I love my PLM3. Why should I switch to the Raptor or whatever? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm just telling you what the features this has. I'm
Mhm.
not, I'm not going to come to your house, kidnap you, and force you to use a Raptor F22 for the rest of your life. That's not what I'm saying. But you guys did upgrade. Now, something that you guys said on your website that I want you to unpack a little bit is you
Mhm.
guys said that you adopted square frames as a standard. You're going to get
Yes.
the solo layout again, because I want you to unpack. First of all, explain to people what that is, and then I want you to unpack why that's important.
So let me ask for clarification, because sometimes we had that, but people think of it different. Do you mean like the actual square, like, columns? Because, some companies have round, some have oval. We actually tried that and we found it wasn't as stable. And actually, when you put the J hooks in there, it could be a little bit dangerous. They could fall off. So the
Right.
square tubing was actually what we found was the best for stability and safety purposes. Is that what people were referring to? Because we want to make sure we're answering the right question.
Well, to be fair, it was on your website, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what you guys meant
That's what we meant.
by
But,
square
I've
tubing.
actually had someone say, do you meant square like the rack? And I was like, well, all racks are square. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So I just wanted to make sure people
No.
understand
Yeah,
what
we're
we
talking
meant.
about.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that you guys are talking about the
The columns.
uprights, and
Yes,
the cross
exactly.
members, right?
Mhm.
Because like to your point, yeah, and I will say also that a lot of that is on the commercial side, and on
Yes.
the, I'm trying to say this kindly, the less robust residential side that used to
Mhm.
exist. I guess it still exists, but like when I started my home gym, it was in 2001, and if you
Okay.
wanted something that you wouldn't be risking your life to use, you had to buy used commercial. Or I mean, I guess you could buy
100%.
brand new commercial too. But in a lot of cases, the commercial dealers wouldn't even sell to you because, like we were just at HFA, they're trying to sell units. They're not trying to sell one
100%.
power rack. They want to sell a bunch of power racks to every location you have in the US. So in a lot of cases, if you wanted something robust and durable, you couldn't even buy it brand new, right?
I
You'd have to
I
go. Go
I
ahead.
remember, like, 1994, 1995, I'm working out, me and my friend in our basement, and we're like, this, you do one pull with that cable and that thing's gonna collapse. You know what I mean?
It's like
And
going
like
like
your friend's holding it, you know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
remember that. And you used to buy that places like, like, believe it or not, like Kmart. You remember they used to sell like
yes,
those
I
workout,
remember that.
and you're like, this is
Oh yeah, I got a
dangerous,
workout
right?
machine I got from Walmart. I just probably want to start working out. I went and bought
So
something
I
from
know what you're talking about. I totally know
Heck
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
dude. And I remember, this is a tangent, but it's cool. It's like you had so many, like I can't think of how many sketchy parking lots I went to because of Craigslist, because
Hmm.
somebody had like something that they, maybe a gym was closing, and they're
Hmm.
like, hey, we've got this stuff, we want to sell it to you. And you show up and it's like this deserted, it looks like bomb craters or whatever. And the gym, it's like boarded up doors. You're like, hey, you're knocking on the door. Hey, you selling weights in there?
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's just insane. Heck, I remember like the older power racks didn't even have holes in the cross members
Yep. I
because
remember that.
yeah, because it's like nobody thought that you would want to. The idea that you would want attachments for your rack was foreign. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that wasn't
remember
even
all
a
that.
thing. That wasn't even a thing back then.
Yeah, like what do you want
Yeah.
that for? Yeah. So anyway, welcome to that trip down memory lane for all the kids who are watching. um, okay, so you make more than racks though.
Yes.
Last week I was talking about rack mounted leg extensions, which is
Mhm.
something in your product catalog.
Yep.
Last week on the show, and I was like, "Oh, I know there's somewhere. There's a few brands that sell
Mhm.
rack mounted leg extensions, and you guys happen to be one of them." Um, our good friend Ashley Hromiak also reviewed your AH1 leg press hack squat
Yes.
machine for the channel, which I'll also link in the description if anybody has not seen
Mhm.
that. But you don't make everything under the sun. So, what
No.
determines for Major Fitness which products
Mhm.
get added to the catalog and which ones don't make
Mhm.
the cut? You're like, okay, that's not a good fit for what we are, for who we are and what we do.
100% what our customers want. So let me give you a perfect example. Okay. And because we're more, home gym and light commercial, I let's step out of that realm for a second. Let's talk about actually commercial gyms, like big gyms. Okay. They all
Sure.
have some form of standing lateral raise. That equipment, it's very sturdy, it's very expensive, and it does one single thing. Okay. So I don't think anyone wants that in their home gym, especially since cable crossovers, pulleys, you could do the same thing. And to be honest with you, it's even better because, let's just say you're Superman and you can do 100-pound lateral raises on a standing lateral raise. Try to do
Yeah.
that with a cable. No way, because you got the cables, it's easier with
Yeah.
a machine. All you got to do is push and it's gliding up, it's on its joints. But let's just say for whatever reason, that's like the new thing. And all the customers are like, dude, could you make one of those? We want it. We will take that feedback. If we actually saw that that's something people want, we, believe it or not, we would make it.
Okay.
So with what we're coming out with, it's all about what you, our customers, our potential customers, what people want for their home gym. Okay. So the hack squat leg press was something that we heard, believe it or not, that people were like, we would love to have something like this in our home gym. Okay.
Oh, sure.
Then we made it. And I actually want people to look at this to show, don't just listen to what I say we do, actually look at what we do. Okay. And you see a lot of the videos out there, and we put it great. And we got a lot of feedback immediately that when you're doing the seated leg press, the base was too small for her feet. For a woman, they said it was good, but for some guys, it was too small. Boom, we already put a new one into design. And I should have checked before the show. It's either already on the new one or it's about to be added to the new one.
Will that be at Home Gym Con? I know I'm skipping ahead to the sneak
I will
peek
get
part.
that answer. I'm hoping it will, because as you know, at HFA, they said
I wasn't gonna bring it up,
no,
but
it's okay. Listen, so I don't know if you know, but the night when you set up, everyone is gone there by like maybe 8 o'clock. We were there till 11 o'clock, I think it was, and we were asking them, can we stay past midnight? And they were like, well, for insurance purposes, we don't know, because they're like, no, it was delivered. And we're like, it's not like, you delivered a dumbbell that you can't find. They're like, no, it's not. So we're
yeah.
hoping it's going to be at Home Gym Con.
So
And the reason
that's
I'm
crazy
hoping
because
is
I
it
told you
is
that
supposed
you
to be
guys
there.
weren't the only ones. But I remember I
Yes.
told you guys were not the only ones
Yes.
who were saying that they were missing equipment.
Yes.
And I remember Scott from Body Solid said, because they've done multiple shows like that, they're like, yeah, we learned our lesson. We try to get everything. If the show starts Thursday, we try to get everything to be there by Tuesday at the
Mhm.
latest, because then we show up Tuesday. If it's not there, we have time to get another one sent out or whatever. But I think there were legitimately
Mhm.
5 companies we talked to.
Oh, that many? Wow.
Yeah, and they were all like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
okay.
well, we're missing this." And now some of them actually, we weren't doing. We were going to do a booth tour, but they're like, "We have stuff that's not here, so we'd
Mhm.
rather not." You know what
Okay.
I mean? So yeah, there were like at least 5 companies that had stuff missing. Key
So
pieces.
so let me tell you this. We absolutely are shipping one to home Gym Con. Okay.
Okay.
Now, whether it actually gets there is out of our realm. But to answer your question, yes, we are shipping one there.
Send it to Jake's house and tell him to bring it. Then it's his fault
Yeah,
if it
right.
doesn't show up. That's what I would do. That's it. That's what I'd give you, solutions. Um, okay, so um, you were talking about, before we got off of that. So you were saying that basically you listen to customer feedback and that's what you make. So
Mhm.
they're like, for example, I'm not a big fan of them, but there are a lot of rack attached lateral raise attachments out there now.
Mhm.
Lever arms, free floating lever arms or whatever.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the reason why we don't have one is we've gotten a handful of people that say they're into that. You know what I mean? It's not. I'll give you another example. One thing that people really told us like consistently, you know, is flexibility. Okay, so you saw the prototype that was at HFA, right? Okay, that one which
Both of them.
was called both of them, but the one that the kind of
Yeah,
flagship one that we
yeah,
called
yeah, yeah.
the C5. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that. I think we changed the name already, because we didn't even ask you for feedback on names.
It's just a
Believe it or
thousand
not.
of us here. You can trust us.
But we were actually listening to even feedback on names. You remember I said, what do you think we should call something like this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those arms are called flex arms
Okay.
simply because we had feedback that people were like, it would be cool if we had some arms that could increase range of motion. If you
Okay.
noticed, we were there, they came up to, and I'm bad with degrees, I think it was 75, 80 degrees.
Okay.
The
Okay.
number one feedback we got was, can you make them vertical? And
Okay.
that's what our R&D team is already sending us designs of. Now, it's not something you just do like this because, and I don't want to get into it, but we had the one bar over it that needs to be shortened or moved over so we can make it vertical. But that wasn't like we had 5 people ask for that. You know what I mean? That's something
Right.
where consistently whoever came to that booth was like, hey, why does this go any higher? So that's what I mean by we listen to people,
Gotcha.
and within 3 weeks of the show, it even blew my mind.
All right. So we got to volunteer to come up with names for you. So
Yeah,
when
okay.
Rob from Vintage Weights is at Home Gym Con, you make sure you say, "Hey, come here. I want names. I want names." But actually, that is something that's like the stuff that you take at a Home Gym Con. Will it include those prototypes that you guys showed me and that
We're
were at
pushing for it.
HFA?
Yes.
Or the more advanced versions that from HFA, and
So,
then you guys are still going to be taking feedback there.
yeah, so this is we have a timeline for everything, and we're hoping based on all the feedback we get to have the prototype actually finished and be the final version in Q3 of this year. Okay, so
Okay.
that home gym con is June, right? I think.
Yeah, June 28th.
Okay, so it's kind of right on that cusp there. So if we do have it, we will have it there. If not, because we might actually use that as like more feedback to be like, okay,
Right.
since it's coming out in Q4, and listen, things happen. If we get a lot of feedback where a lot of people want us to change additional or add additional feature, maybe we'll push it to Q4, which we're okay with. We'd rather put out a product that people actually want and say that this is, something that they've been asking for, rather than just say, hey, we say Q3, put it out, and then 3 months later we're getting feedback. They're like, well, why don't you do this?
Okay. All right. So this is going to be the tough one. I warned you about it.
Yeah.
Um, did you? So let me get my name because I don't like blindsiding people. Did you watch the video I sent you?
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
All right. So first things first. And for those who don't really know,
Mhm.
essentially, I had Joe Gray on here, and the video of that interview is available on the channel. I've got the link in the description for this video. Joe, for those who don't know him, Joe created the Garage Gym competition, but he's also a mod for our home gym on Reddit, which is one of the, which is a very large subreddit. It's got millions of users. I guess that's what they call it, users. Um, and he said basically that there is what he sees as or what looks like some shady behavior. So basically, it looks like they're bots who are going
Mhm.
in and they are kind of spamming with positive, and it's always positive only comments regarding Major Fitness.
Mhm.
And he said, as recently, in fact, I've got the text from him. Uh, he said, as recently as last week, they were still seeing those
Mhm.
those comments or whatever, right? Um, and he said it's not just you guys,
Mhm.
but yeah, it, part of the thing that flags it. I mean, like, that is as a bot as opposed to a human being is sometimes the comment is phrased as if it's the answer to a question,
100%. Mhm.
but it's not. But nobody asked a question, right? So it's just like a
100%.
random comment that looks like it's answering a question. Oh yeah, you know what? The best fix for that is Major Fitness, whatever, right? And
Mhm.
so, kind of like, what's your response from seeing the
Yeah.
video? Actually, let's just start there. What's your response after seeing that video?
So first of all, we appreciate Joe because we want people to bring that to our attention. We actually, once you sent us that video, sent it all the way up to our founder. Okay, he immediately instructed the company to do some research on this. Some of the things we found out was that we were hiring third-party contractors. Now, we accept blame for this. I just want to make that very clear, okay? Because if we hire someone, we hire them, it's still on us. We should have done our due diligence.
100%.
So we are one of the accepting responsibility for that. To go one step further, we would actually love to work with Joe, okay, to figure out if why this is continuing, where he's seeing it, so we could rectify it. Like I said, the one thing I love about Major Fitness is we're all about transparency. You know, I could have given you the PR answer and spun it and said something else. You know, we're not going to say that. We actually, when we saw that video, we're like, can you put us in contact with Joe? We would really love to rectify this. Let our customers, our fans, our whoever it is, understand that we're a new company. So when you're a small company, you have to hire outside contractors.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah,
they take things into their own hands,
it's
and
happened to
that's
us. Fair,
yeah.
my
But
hand up
that's
in the
why
air.
instead of
It's happened to
that's
us.
why we
Yeah.
actually appreciate it when you said that. We were like, some people might be like, this is a bad look. We look at the opposite. It's a bad look, but thankfully Joe came on the show. And like, John, if you would be, make an introduction so we could work with him, we would love that. You know what I mean? We want to rectify this. Since then, we have made major changes to our social media engagement. Okay. One of the things he said in the show is Abby. I think that was the girl's name that he was reaching out to. I don't even know who Abby is, to be honest with you. Okay.
Wow.
No, I don't mean that in a
Well, I
bad
mean,
way.
that's how it's like that sometimes, especially with
But
the
what I mean
contractors.
is that's why we now have a U.S. office.
Yeah.
That's why we're creating a hub in the U.S. so we could have everything here. So is Abby someone from the home office? I don't know. Is it one of the third-party contractors? I don't know. So we accept full responsibility for that. We're not going to try to spin it. We've literally changed on how we engage with social media. Our values are number one, and we want to hear from people. And we want to rectify this right away. And like I said, we're a small company, so you have to. Unfortunately, it's not like we're Hammer Strength or whatever, where you have an
Yeah.
in-house team of 20 people just doing social media
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
or even larger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, we actually didn't look at that as a bad thing. We looked at it as like, thank you for bringing it to our attention. And if anything, I think it's going to give us a boost to show how we handle adversity when things like this happen. Because if you rectify it, I think people are going to come back like they have integrity. They owned up to it and they're going to fix it.
Yeah. I always. Oh, actually, you know what? My apologies. What's up, man? Bremy, look, I saw your comment. I meant to say something to respond to you. I'm in Virginia Beach because I am doing color commentary for a powerlifting meet tomorrow. My wife and I are contracted to live stream it, and so that's one of our. So we're doing Saturday and Sunday up here. It'll be at Flex Gym here in Virginia Beach. So if you want to swing by, man, I'd love to meet you in person. So that'll be awesome. All right. Okay, but to respond to what you were saying, I think what first of all, like I said, this has happened to us before. We were trying to grow on Instagram, so we
Mhm.
hired somebody who was one of those. They reach out to you, say, hey, we can grow your Instagram, make
They
it
promise you the
huge.
world, right?
Yeah, and so you're like, I don't know anything about this. Sure, I'll try it, and then you find out that they're doing stuff that, to me, I don't even know if it would be considered ethical by general industry standards. But what I didn't like is it didn't fit with our company values from our
Mhm.
brand, and our company's, quite frankly, me and my wife, but it still didn't fit with our brand values. It's not who we are. So I can't do anything that doesn't reflect who we are, because now we're giving you a false
Mhm.
impression of who we are. So
100%.
how can I build a relationship with our audience, build community with them if we're not telling them who we really are? I can't have a false face. So I completely understand that. It's like I said, it's happened to us. And then the other side of it is, as much as we complain about companies or
Mhm.
whatever, I understand companies are made of human beings and human beings make
Mhm.
errors. And so it's not important to me that you never make a mistake. It's important to me what you do when you make a mistake and you
Mhm.
find out you made it. So
And
I
that's why we
understand.
value that Joe came out with that. And I gotta give credit to Joe. Like, we respect him. He had integrity because he could have bashed us if he wanted to. Like, really went, digging
Yeah,
deep, which people do for more likes and more engagement. He's a class act. He came out there. I actually watched that video like 4 times, not because I was like taking notes, because I was like, you know what, Joe's a class act. He
yeah,
even said, he goes, maybe this is the case, maybe it's not. Like, and
sure.
we appreciate that, which is why we would love to work with him to
Yeah,
see
yeah, I
where he's
credit
seeing
you
this.
guys.
Because I gotta be honest with you, when you said right now up until last week, if I go back, and I will go back, and tell them that, they're not going to be happy, because we thought that we've got rid of all the third party contractors that
Right.
were doing that. So we would. That's why I say Joe's a class act. We love that he brought it to our attention, and again, we didn't even realize up until last week. So we're like, all right, where did we miss? Okay,
Right.
why is this still happening? So yeah, I like Joe. I think he's a class act. We appreciate that, and we want to use this as an opportunity to show our customers, you know, let's make it right. Because if we make things right, people will understand that going forward. You're right. We're all humans.
Yeah.
When things pop up, we will make it right.
That is, like I said, that's pretty much all we can ask you to do.
Mhm.
So I will connect you with him.
Mhm.
I can give you his contact information, and more than that, he'll be at Home Gym Con. So I will
Yeah,
make an
yeah.
in-person
Let's meet
introduction
up
with you
there.
guys.
Let's all meet up. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So hang on, we got a question right here. It's actually my brother. Hey, Luke's Garage Gym is here. What's up, Luke? How you doing? Luke Stetson, the man. All right. We got some questions from him later on. And this is my brother. He said, I've been interested in major fitness for a long time. So this is really good for me to hear you come forward and get all your things worked out.
Mhm.
So that's awesome right there. Um, so let's go back to talk about equipment. Um, I told you guys at HFA that I was impressed with the upgrades that you already made to the
Mhm.
racks. First of all, you went from 14 gauge to 12 gauge steel.
Yes.
Question about that. Um, are all of the uprights 12 gauge steel now? So front, back. Oh,
So the I gotta double check this. The B-52 Pro, the F-22 Pro, yes. The F-35, I'm not sure. So
okay,
I know going forward, we're keeping like the prototype and the new ones, like the Pro models. Those are 12 gauge. Let me get back to you on the other one, because I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
okay. Um, and we kind of touched on it briefly,
Mhm.
but what was the reason behind going from 14 to 12 instead of 14 to 11?
Question we actually get a lot.
Really?
So, cost and stability. We want to try to find that balance. Okay. So, for instance, we know, especially in the US, the big thing is, 3x3 and 11 gauge. And if people are like, we have to have that, we have to have it, we will absolutely change that. But you have to understand that comes at an increase in cost. We found that the 12 gauge is that perfect balance of, sturdy, reliable, without adding too much additional cost. We also, we have to look at how our equipment's being used. So you don't have guys that are training for strongman competitions that are using, the F-35 at home when, these guys are doing, think about it. You go to a strongman gym, you're using a yoke, the Husafel stone. So the major people who are using our equipment are home gyms. So it's not like it's a commercial gym where thousands of people are using it hours and wear and tear. You maybe have 4 family members at the most using it a day. So we found this is the perfect balance of stability, safety, reliability, and the cost is not, exorbitant. I said that word.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's early morning. I use it.
no, I
Not
got
too
you. I
high.
got you. You're doing okay. You're doing okay. So I'm gonna just tell you, 11 gauge steel is the way to go. Okay.
But that's what we want to hear. If you think so, yeah.
Yeah. So just because I don't plan on driving my car 100 miles an hour doesn't mean I don't want it to be capable of it. Because I want it to be capable of more than I ask of it, if that makes sense, right?
And that's why, we want to hear, because if people say that, guess what? We're going to make 11 gauge steel. It shows up. Think about it. We've been in business since 2021. And you said to yourself, look at the improvements we've made in that short period of time. So if 11 gauge is it, we could be having this
11 gauge is
conversation.
it. I could. Hey, look, you know what? You guys are listening in the chat. I know you are because I'm seeing your questions. Go ahead and just straight up put in the chat 11 gauge, or you think 12 gauge is fine? Because I'm just gonna say, man, the other aspect of it is, yes, there's the hobby. I don't want to say hobbyists, but people who like basically part of the fun for them is outfitting a home gym. And so then they might get rid of their rack and get a new one and start the process all over. But you also have people who buy one rack, but they plan to give that rack to their kids and to their grandkids. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that rack has to still be good in 2055.
Totally agree with you.
Right? And I don't know how strong my grandkid's going to be.
That is why, though, one of the things that we talk about with our home office all the time is, if people are getting stronger, that's why we say, your strength for tomorrow. So we would absolutely, if we see that's the way to go and that's what people want, it's not like it's, oh my God, like that's unheard of. Think about it. We went from 14 to 12, going to 11 is not a big deal at all.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm just saying that, I'm just going to tell you that, first of all, 14 gauge steel screams out a word, screams out Amazon to me. And that's got a negative connotation. 12 gauge steel is like you're trying, but you're not quite there yet. I'm just being honest.
That's what we want.
Whenever you think of like the racks whenever you think of the brands that are the ones that we say these are the high quality brands, its baseline is, they're 11 gauge steel and they're 3x3, right? I'm not saying that you couldn't have the 60 millimeter or the 75 millimeter racks. I'm just saying that the standard, especially in America, it's like, hey, 11 gauge steel, 3x3 rack. Now, where you want to start a fight is 5/8 versus 1 inch holes.
Yeah,
okay, you can have that battle, whatever. But I'm just saying that that's like a baseline. Shoes need soles. Bikes need wheels. Bikes need tires. Whatever, right? It's like this is just a baseline. Carp said 11 gauge steel would be nice, especially if you can find a way to still keep it at a budget price point or a better price point than all the other ones.
I want to answer that question because that's one thing that we are extremely confident in. So if you look at, let's just say our B52 Pro, okay, and compare it to similar ones on the market, and listen, there's really good ones on the market. We're not one of those companies that, lives in a fairy tale world and our product is the best and everyone else is inferior, that are comparable. We know there are that. I tell our customers or our prospective customers, go out there and compare prices. I know you've done that, John. We are so competitively priced. We've literally had a HFA of 2 people come up to us from competing brands say, how are you able to do that?
Right.
And we say, what do you mean? It's not like we're undercutting or our margins are so small that we're going to go out of business, because companies do that. They make very little margins out there. Next thing you know, 3 years later, they're out of business.
No, they can't pay the bills.
And I got to be careful how I say this, because we're not about bashing the other companies, but are other companies, maybe their margins so high, you know what I mean? So I'll give you just one other example. Go back to the supplement industry. There's a very well-known supplement company out there. I know the founder very, very well. He makes amazing products. Everything's third-party tested, and he sells them at a reasonable price. So a supplement that's $49.99 takes anywhere from between $3 and $7 to cost. That's just the standard. By the time it goes distributor, retailer, okay? I know this other brand that has this ridiculous cult following. Like every time they put something out, it sells out like this. Okay. They made this one product that's identical to this other company, except for one ingredient. And the one ingredient that they changed is an inferior ingredient, meaning it's a lot cheaper. Okay. They sell it for $79.99.
Oh,
so one is $49, one is $79.
Yeah.
To have them produced is basically the same. Let's call it $6. Yeah. One guy is adding an extra $30. And you know what? They do it because they can, because they have such a cult following, it sells. So now, the reason I gave a supplement in examples, I don't want to bash any other companies because we're not about that. But when people say, how are we able to be so competitive, is we feel this is a price where we make money and the consumer gets a good deal. So that's why 11 gauge steel, I guarantee you, still would be ridiculously competitive to our competitors out there that make something very similar. That we can guarantee.
So we got the questions coming in hot. I might not even get to ask you the questions on my list because we'll go with. I'm going to prioritize the live chat. So let's. So first of all, Luke. So Luke does does some product reviews for you guys. He works with you guys, and he's wondering if he's ever talked to you. He said He said he doesn't know if he's ever spoken to you or not. So
no, we haven't. Like I said, everyone in the U.S. is very new.
Okay. All right, so that answers that. Matthew Porter, what's up, Matthew? Congrats on your product that I saw on Instagram, by the way. Matt's doing some really good stuff. He makes, actually, he made, if you guys run into him at Home Gym Con, he makes products that would make your products better. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
Right? He says, okay, so like you got a rack, he checks out what your stuff is. So, well, I can make this thing that's a kind of a tweak. If people want it, that will enhance your product, that kind of thing. All right. Good dude. My brother, so I'm going to say this. So my brother has a strongman gym, which is outdoors. It's got a roof, no walls. Okay. In the wintertime, they put up basically like an enclosure. It's a temporary enclosure. But summertime, it's dust, it's rain, it's just out there, right? And so he's always concerned about the durability of anything he buys. Like, how long is this going to last under those environmental conditions? So when it right there.
We're going to be honest with you, our stuff is not made to go outside. Okay. So we don't know. And here's what I mean by it. Okay. The actual frame itself, nothing's going to happen. Will it get rust and dirt when there's rain? Absolutely. Okay. As for the pulley systems, that's a different story. But that's a different story. Like we're not in the business of building outdoor gym equipment. So it's one of those things of we don't know because we haven't tested it. Again, as you saw there, we upgraded. We don't have plastic pulleys. We have aluminum. So that's what makes it smoother. So I know plastic in the rain is not good, but aluminum also could rust. You know what I mean? So that's an honest question. We would have to literally put our rack out there and come back to you in 6 months and say, hey, this is what we noticed.
Oh, there you go. That's a testing round. And say, hey, man, can we just put a rack out here in your backyard and try to break it. Let us know what happens. All right. So are you aware of the name? This is a family show. Carp, what are you doing to me? Major, all right. Major Duty. Let's just say that. He said he's even heard somebody whose name I don't say. He said he's heard him call him that publicly. Is that a reason for the upgrades? And he said it's nice that you're going away 14 gauge.
Absolutely, we have not heard that. I'm being very transparent with you.
You've never heard Major Duty?
I really haven't.
That's one of the ones I've heard.
Yeah. And even if the home office is aware of it, listen, it goes in one ear, goes at the other. We can't make everyone happy. I get that. The reason for upgrades is literally our product team and feedback. You met Matt at HFA, right? He actually lives in China. He's a competitive, strongman competitor. I think he holds multiple records in China, literally for the entire country. He's huge. Him and I were talking physiology, kinesiology, biomechanics, like nonstop at HFA. Like we're both really in tune with that. Major Fitness wants to hear from people that have that background. Remember, I was talking to you. specifically about kinesiology and how the body moves and how we take that into consideration. Up until I remember it was 2007, and I was talking to probably the largest commercial gym manufacturer. They have like 7 brands or 5 brands under their name. And they were literally telling me, this is 2007, that they're starting to look into hire exercise physiologists to help with designing of their equipment. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? And they're like, oh yeah, right now it's just engineers building. And I'm like, people who don't understand anything about working out, people who don't understand.
I was literally just complaining about that.
Yeah.
Before you came on.
I said people that have no understanding of biomechanics, kinesiology. So let me give you another example, and I'm going to use the commercial because this literally happened at HFA. Okay. Yeah. And I want to be very vague because, again, even though I'm not trash talking, I don't want it to be conceived that way.
I got you. That's fine.
But there was, let's say, 2 companies there that were 2 out of the largest 5 in the world. That way I'm not calling anyone out. And it was day 1, it ended, and I'm walking by, and I see this one piece of equipment that's been in the gym forever. And I've always had a gripe with it. Okay. Just because it's so it restricts range of motion. It's not built for the way we move. And I look at it and I swear to you, I'm like, oh my God, the one thing that I always said they should change, they changed. So I went up there. I was like, yeah, hi, is someone here I can speak to, And I was like, I can't believe you made this change. And the first thing he says, he's like, yeah, we've decided that this is something that needs to be changed. We've not only heard from people, but we're actually starting to listen to kinesiologists on the way the body moves. So when he said that, I was like, all right, I got to go to now this other company that makes the competing product, which is even more popular. Yeah. And since 2007, 2008, 2009, it's the number one thing and you know it too, John, we can talk about this offline. When you go to a commercial gym, people complain about this product. And I went there and they did not change it. So since 2007, this has been 18 years, they have not changed it. And I said, I'm just curious, over there they make that. And he goes, yeah, we saw that. And this was their response. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And guess what?
It's kind of broke.
It's kind of broke.
It's kind of broken, yeah.
So the reason why I'm telling you this is we actually look at things and we want to understand how people work out. Matt, who actually understands biomechanics, has a background in kinesiology, like I have a background in kinesiology, and Major Fitness wants to understand that when we're developing products. So it's not about let's have an engineer build something and hopefully it's okay. You know what I mean? We actually want to build it based on how the body moves, what's going to increase range of motion. And then we go to the engineers, our product team, and we collaborate.
Awesome. All right. So we got a couple more questions here. I see you backstage, Mike. So we got Dr. Michael Brantley coming up next. But right now we are speaking to John Offreda, sales director at Major Fitness. So Luke's Garage Gym said about the 12 gauge, 11 gauge, 14 gauge. He said basically just do both. Let the consumer figure out what works for them. Basically have different tiers. So you can decide how much money you want to spend, how robust a product you need. I've seen several brands do that, where they'll say, okay, if you want this, the thing about that is people always end up, well, I wouldn't say always, but a lot of times people end up upgrading, right? Because they're like, they get it like, yeah, this just isn't enough for me. Then they end up upgrading. And I just feel like to me, there's like a kind of a baseline. I know this works and I know that this is safe. So it's just one less thing I got to worry about. I can just move on. Can
I answer that about having both?
Yeah.
So we would do like an A/B test, but to actually offer both with only 1 gauge difference could actually end up having the opposite effect, meaning too many options, people don't understand, and then some people think, oh my God, well, I just bought the 12 with 12, 11, and just because it's available out there, even though it's perfect for them for their home gym. So we actually want to understand it's, you see this all the time, companies that want to offer everything under the sun and their catalog is immense, then they start discontinuing products. It's too much out there, like I said, we started in 2021. We're not Hammer Strength. We're not Matrix. We don't have like a budget that we're like, let's make 75 different pieces of equipment. So we would actually do the A/B test and see what people want more. And, if 11 is it, just popular one, because then we would also say like, listen, if it's only going to cost this much more, most people probably wouldn't care. You know what I mean?
Exactly. 100%. So this is one. This was one of my gripes with the Raptor, and I even told you when I
Mhm.
saw you, I was like, the Raptor F-22 is too short. I'm not the tallest guy, but I don't want to have to bend my knees to do a pull
Mhm.
up, or obviously you're probably going to bend your knees to do dips, but to do a pull up, I shouldn't have to bend my knees. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So Eric is, I think 6'2", 6'3".
Mhm.
Eric, I don't remember, but yeah, he's like the racks are all too short. And one of the things that I think when people say, okay, we're gonna make home gym equipment, is they automatically make it for a basement.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, partially because a lot of the home gym companies are based on the East Coast, specific, or in like the Midwest, like in Chicago, where a lot of people have basements,
Mhm.
right? Um, and I'm like, yeah, but what about those of us in garages, like who've got a lot
Mhm.
more clearance? People who have the gym, like Rory Ellis. I was just
Mhm.
thinking about. I don't know if Rory's on here right now, but Rory has his gym. He's got a building on his property that's separate from the house that's got plenty of clearance. And then again, like taller people, um, what was the thought process? I know you guys like initially you're like, okay, we're gonna make them this height, but then were you just getting feedback that says, hey, you need taller racks, or what?
Yes.
What was it?
So two points on this question, and I love this question. The first thing is, this is what I mean by we listen to feedback. First thing he said was gauge thickness doesn't matter to me so much, you know?
Yeah,
So like I'm telling you, we actually collect feedback, and I know 11 is the way to go, is what, but we have a lot of people that are just like Eric, they're like, dude, I could care less about that. So we want to collect all the feedback to see it. That's number one. I just want to point that out. The second
gotcha.
thing is we get comments about height all the time, all the time. Okay. And through market research and also through just what we hear from people, we know that 90 and 102-inch versions are something that people want the ability like to have an option. Are you finding that too? 90 and 102? Like John, from everyone
Yeah,
you
it's
speak
like,
to?
yeah, 100 is a little bit outside the range, but 90, because so like to just use I'm in Georgia, and my garage is typical, right?
Hmm.
So I've got stall mats.
Hmm.
So, let's take out maybe, let's say 3/4 of an inch just to be
Hmm.
generous, right? But I still got 100 inches. I measured it from the top of my stall mat to where my rafters are.
Okay.
So a 90-inch, 92-inch rack is perfect because I can still do pull-ups without hitting my head,
Hmm.
but I'm also able to do hangs. That's really where it's more annoying.
Where you're not
Pull-ups,
like hitting the ground, right?
yeah, pull-ups,
Okay.
okay, I can get around it, bend your legs.
So
But a
this is what
hang where
we're
you just
doing.
gonna do that, like, yeah,
So this is what we're currently doing right now. We're weighing a few options out. Yes, we might want to be able to offer 90, 92, 102. And I know 102 is high, but that's what I'm saying. We've actually heard that from people. Okay.
yeah,
And if that's a thing, we'll offer that. Like that might be something we, instead of offering 11 and 12 gauge, which we feel would just be kind of like people won't get it. Some people will be like, would I go
right.
here, or
Well,
one
I
or the
think you were
other?
saying 11 and 14.
Oh yeah, don't worry about the 14. Yes.
Yeah,
But what I'm trying to say is we found that it might be better to offer, hey, these three racks come in these three different height sizes. Okay.
gotcha.
But what we're also testing is adding accessories to the current ones where you could make something like, a pull up as if it was 102 or 92 inches.
Right.
Does that make sense? So we're
Sure.
trying to see what's better, because if we start coming out with, let's say, 92 inches and we don't offer that accessory, people might, but I already have it. Or we might offer both. Going forward, you could buy the 92, or if you already have one of our other ones, the accessory. So that is all in the works right now. We're testing it out. We're A/B testing it. I'm going to get back to you an answer. Maybe we could have some of those accessories at in June for you to try out and
Sure.
see, like, because might people be like, listen, these accessories make it that high. That's fine by me.
All right. Um, so quick shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. It is 6 a.m. for you guys. Thank you. If you're watching right now, obviously you're hearing this, so you're watching. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. We are talking to John Offreda, who is sales director with Major Fitness, and I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Do me a favor. Don't just hit like and subscribe. That's free. But what's also free is sharing this link with somebody else who you think might enjoy this content. And look, I brought his name up, and now Rory's in the chat. All right, that's what happens. He's like Candyman. You say his name too much, he shows up. I want to say something. Let's talk about the gauge too, because I just thought of it, and I'm gonna give is another shout out. Heck, it'll probably make him show up too. Apparently, if I say your name, you show up. Tim from Gym Crafter was talking about your racks, and well, not about your racks. He was talking about your rack, but then he started talking about just 14 gauge steel racks in general. And he's
Mhm.
saying that he had a rack like with the softer gauge steel. Over time, the constant wear and tear of like stuff dropping on the bolts. He said he actually had a rack that ended up no longer square because
Really?
yeah, he
Wow.
said
Okay.
because over time, and heck, I'll send you the link to the video where he's talking about that.
Yes, please.
But yeah, it's that's the other thing with the softer gauge steel. It's like,
Hmm.
you know, there's continuous repetitive impact,
Hmm.
vibratory impact from the bolts and everything else, stuff hitting this over and over and over. Now the holes are starting to, over time they're not going to be rounded, and so that's my concern with the softer gauge steel rack. Because I mean, like, if this is thinking it through. If I'm screwing a bolt down just with my socket, right? The handheld ratchet socket, right? And I see it dimple just from
Well,
me
that
cranking it
of
down.
course, that shows it's weak, right? That
Yeah.
already
And
shows
it's
it's
like,
weak.
okay,
Yeah.
and I know it's 14 gauge steel. I put my gauge tester on, it's 14 gauge steel. But what's that going to do over time as I'm racking the
Mhm.
weight? Not even dropping it, but just the
Mhm.
racking of the weight. That's part of the
And that is
problem.
why, obviously, we increased it to 12 gauge. For the newer models. I
Yeah.
will say something though. If you ever build one of our racks yourself, I know some people hire third party companies, but can you still hear me, John?
Yeah, yeah, you're still here.
Okay. We were building the prototype at HFA, and
Yeah.
we had the power drill and not the cheap, battery power, like the industrial ones. When we drilled those holes and we made it as tight as possible, there was no denting, no dimpling. It was like sturdy. So yes, obviously 11 gauge will be even more sturdy. But what I'm trying to say is I totally agree with you. If we probably did that with 14 gauge, you would see the metal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the integrity would fluctuate a little bit.
Gotcha. All right. One last thing about from Eric. He said so. Eric, he said he got measured at 6'4" at the dock once, but he's got a 91 and he still wants taller. So for him,
The
93
102
might
would
be
be good, right?
okay. 95, 96. So basically, I think Eric. He sounded to me like you just need to get the 100. And there's different companies that have the 100 as an option. Um, Rory. Rory, you're not going to make me believe that barefoot grass flip flop thing is not a collaboration that you're personally involved in. I know you are. Um, let's see. All right, making sure that we didn't miss any other things. All right, so we've only got about a minute or so before we have to wrap this up. We talked about the products you're going to be potentially taking to Home Gym Con. You talked about advancements. So we did cover a lot of the questions that Luke sent to me and wanted me to ask you. But what I don't have from you is I'm going to give you the single screen again, and I want you to. So this is a two-parter. I want you to just talk to the audience directly. This is your first time on here. I hope you come back. In fact,
Would
I'd
love
love
to.
to talk to you guys. I'm definitely coming by your booth at Home Gym Con. But this is your first time on the show. I don't even know if this is the first major fitness interview with like on a show like this.
For the
But
US office, it is.
it is. Oh well,
For the
shoot.
US
Hey,
office, yeah. Mhm.
Hey, I am a competitive dude, so I love being first. So
Yeah, you get us first, man.
I appreciate you trusting me, to
Mhm.
handle this professionally. Um,
100%.
and so I do appreciate you, and also you're taking time to come on here. So I'm gonna let you have the big screen. I want you to look at the audience directly and just tell them, number one, why they should be excited about Major Fitness in
Mhm.
2025, and number two, how can they keep up with what you guys have going on, where they can, give the
Mhm.
website information, where they can buy stuff.
Mhm.
If you have a newsletter, how can they sign up for it? That kind of thing. All right.
We definitely wanted to touch on that. So first off, what I want to tell everyone out there is we want to just create good quality products. We want to have innovation and we want our customers to be happy. So what I mean by that is we want feedback. Like I know, like I said, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Please reach out to us. Okay. You could I'll literally give everyone my email. It's John dot Offreda Offreda at majorfitness.com. Please email me. We take everything, we read it, we submit it back to the home office. So we want to hear because we want to create products that, like I said, are quality, durable, and innovative. And actually, the fourth one, it's what you want. Because we can make something that's innovative, quality, but if it's not what you want, it does nobody any good. Second thing is the newsletter. Like I said, we're a new company. We've are, kind of are growing. We don't have, a staff of 200 people. So we are currently building a newsletter and on something on our website where we could get better engagement. As of right now, the best is a social media, Instagram, Facebook. We actually read those comments. So, sorry. Engage with us, and just like I said, email us, call us, send us an email, whatever it may be. We want to hear from you, and we want to make sure that we're building products that people actually want and love to use, and are proud to show, say that, hey, I use major fitness equipment in my home gym.
Awesome. Well, John, man, I appreciate you taking time to hang out with us. Go ahead, everybody. Once again, go ahead and check out. It still says, are you guys going to change that URL, by the way? Or are you just going to leave it?
Yes. No,
Okay.
no, we're that's the thing. When you type in major fitness, it actually changes it to major-lute for some reason. So you can put in majorfitness.com and it would still revert to this. So we're working on that.
You got to redirect on it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody go ahead and check out Major Fitness or Major Lute, whichever. Just go ahead and check out what they got going on, and you are definitely going to see them at Home Gym Con. John, once again, I appreciate you being here, and I'll let you get started the rest of your day. I got you up before your morning coffee or anything else, so thanks for getting
John, I appreciate you. I really appreciate you having me. Would love to come back on the show at any time. And I just want to thank your viewers for giving us the opportunity to be on the show, answer questions, and like I said, we want to be the brand that people think about when they think of quality home gym equipment that's innovative and actually creates products that people want, not just what we think you want.
Awesome, my man. You have a good day, man. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone.
All right, later. All right. So that was my guy, John Offreda from Major Fitness. That was a pretty good conversation. I enjoyed talking to him. And I knew, when I met them over at Home Gym Con, it was, I say it's kind of an eye-opening conversation, which is one reason why I wanted to bring them on, because it's really easy to look at these brands as just like, oh, it's like some corporate entity that's basically, it's a faceless entity, right? And so part of what I do is try to introduce you to the brand in a way that lets you see the people behind the brand. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I know it may be a little bit corny, but really sometimes all it takes is for putting a human face to a brand, and that's and that way you kind of get to see why they make the products they do, and it just puts the company in a different light. All right, so we got Michael Brantley. Mike is backstage. Mike, are you ready? I can't see you. Oh, he's ready to go. Look at him. My man's charged up, fully loaded. Batteries fully loaded. He's ready to go. All right, so we're going to try this one more time, see if we get this to go the right way. Everybody give a warm welcome to my guy, second and last guest of the day, Michael Brantley. I was in your stomping grounds, man. Just look at he's still. He flexed so hard he froze the camera.
I don't know what happened, man.
I don't know. You know what? It's because your screen's vertical. Do me a favor, turn your make sure you got your auto rotate on and turn your screen, because I'm gonna give you the solo, John, the solo layout a couple times, and I want it to look good if people are watching. Boldest Lion said, "I thought it was a picture." There you go.
Or to come in, man, with the intro music playing.
Man, hey, look, let me tell you how the people feel about that. There you go. You got the crowd going wild for your pose.
Yeah, this right here, man. My son gave me this. It's a tool joint. Yeah,
he is worthy. Okay. So man, first of all, I appreciate you being on here, dude. It was it's kind of like one of those things. Like I said, Memorial Day is coming up.
Freeze again?
It's not super close, but it's close enough for us, to talk. And I wanted to highlight what you do, but also I want to give you a shout out because you gave me a shout out. And people, I mean, I know you understand, but a lot of times people think like they don't see like the effect that it has on us when we create a piece of content, and then somebody not only engages with it, like they like it, but they like it enough to tell other people about it. That feeling is almost impossible to describe. And so I really appreciate it, man, because I found out about you, which is a lesson for anybody who's trying to grow on social media in any way. Mike has 152,000 Instagram followers, but I didn't find out about you until you tagged me on Instagram showing that you were watching my show. And that's just how the algorithm works, right? So if you don't be discouraged now, you're like, oh well. The number one, don't be discouraged because you think that it's too crowded. That there are way too many people out there for you to do anything. Now there are plenty of people who like don't know this person or that person, and so there's plenty of room for everybody to jump into the space and create good content. Please create good content. Don't just be in there. Create good content. I've seen enough cat videos. But then also, if you're not growing as fast as you want, also don't be discouraged because nobody is growing as fast as they want. Everybody's always like this. Always one more person I can reach with my message. So, those are my two pieces of encouragement. But anyway, you like I said, I discovered you because you posted the reel. So before we get into your why, your motivations for getting in shape and all that kind of stuff, for people who don't know you, they just see USNCC_counselor. They're like, what's that? So go ahead, talk about the work you do with the US Navy Community College and what you do with service members.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Bit of a backstory real quick. The reason I started following you is because I was just going through YouTube and you were doing a review on the Bells of Steel, that single stack. And I was gonna put it right over there in that corner and I didn't need it. So I was like, this guy's good. He's good. Let me let me check him out. Then I just start following, then I start seeing the Friday shows or whatever. So that's, as you mentioned, if you're trying to get out there, like I'm not that guy. I have my platforms mainly for like workout videos, weird stuff that I do and work. But yeah, that's why. So if follow John, man. John he figured it out. So
hey, I have not figured it out, but I'm figuring it out. Let's just say it like that. But yeah, man, I think what you, like I said though, just like on a real, what you do with service members is important, and I think that's a major part. I think what you do really impacted your decision. In addition to your family, it impacts your decision to get in shape. I think a lot of times we kind of separate that. We're like, I work out for me. And and if I don't feel like doing that, it doesn't matter. But you don't even work directly in a profession where physical fitness is a requirement. I mean, you're not in the service anymore, so it's not technically a requirement. But talk about what you do, and then we'll go into how that impacted your decision to get in shape.
All right, the US Naval Community College is an online educational option and additional online educational options for Navy sailors, Marines, and Coast Guards. Active duty, active, component reserves, and it's online, it's free, it's, very flexible. And what I like about it is, for one, if anybody on here is from the Air Force has always had a community college. And I'll go into my backstory where I was before here. I've been here a year, but we never had a naval community college. So when I saw the opportunity to apply, I did. But what I like about it is, aside from being free, if you've ever seen any of my stuff, that's the banner. Like, I understand how crippling student loan debt is. But what I like about it is, for the Navy, there is a 3-year time and service requirement that you'll have to wait before you can use tuition assistance. And it might be different for other branches. But in that 3 years, if you were somebody that was totally different from what I was when I first came into the Navy in 1998, then that if you're like high speed and you join the military to go to college, you got to wait 3 years. And in certain situations, depending on what that first 3 years, what's factored in, how that steers your career, that might change your passion. So the USNCC is that for a lot of students. So once they graduate boot camp, they get to that first command, they can start school. Or they graduate boot camp and they're a little smarter than I was, and they got one of those technical or nuclear ratings or something like that, and they go to a C school that's like 2 to 4 months, they can start school. And I think that it positions you better to when you start using your TA, and then you can go in and you can start your bachelor's. Some of our classes, like our naval studies classes, are real writing intensive. So that'll prepare you when it comes time to taking those upper division, undergraduate courses. So, there's a I'd asked one of my, supervisors, hey, give me a pitch, an elevator pitch. He gave me this long drawn out. I don't want to go, that would take the whole 45 minutes. But yeah, that's just in a nutshell of what it is and what we have to offer.
All right. So I know we have some people watching who are veterans, but when we're on the phone, I was in Arizona.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
You
was in
called and I was
Arizona.
like, man, did you butt down me, dude?
I was in Arizona because I remember I was driving. I was like, dude, I don't know what time it is. All right. I just been in the desert. All I see is cactus, just cacti everywhere. Right. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is. Let me call Mike. Oh, I need to ask him this. And that's how I ended up calling you. But it was the thing is that a lot of so like you got a lot of people who are watching who are veterans, but as we were speaking yesterday, there are people who have kids who are trying to figure out what they want to do. They have kids who are, let's say they're in high school trying to figure out what they want to do. Do they want to go to college? Do they want to join the military? And they think some of them think it's an either or proposition, or they think, okay, I'm going to join the military. Then they're like, college, the military wasn't right for me. College isn't right for me. Now what do I do? They don't even realize that you can use your education benefits towards a trade school or something like that. So those are examples of things that I know people need to know. But
Yeah.
what's something that you wish that active duty personnel and veterans knew about higher education that they don't ask you because they don't even know that they need to know it?
Okay. Well, first, I'd like to throw the disclaimer out there. I do not believe that college is for everybody. Even though that was the route that I went, it's not everyone's thing. And early on, before I started my educational journey, I had the fixed mindset. I'm not a college guy. So I always like to let people know, but I do want, active duty service members and especially veterans to know what's accessible, because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, if you can foresee the future, please tell me. I'll play the lottery. You could have told us about COVID, all this other stuff, but we don't know what's going on. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I'm a federal employee. So if you even paying attention just a little bit to what's going on in the world, we got to have options. So, active duty service members, I always say, just at least look into the benefits, at least look into tuition assistance, what it has to offer. It doesn't have to be a degree. It could be a certificate. You can go to one of these schools that offer coding certificates and things like that. Look into trades, but at least look into it and then plan on acting on it. In the Navy, we have a seashore rotation. You remember in the Navy when we're carrying you guys to do what you need to do, y'all in the gym, the whole different
so
video, right?
You're basically an Uber driver. Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
But you say, okay, well, I'm too busy right now on sea duty. I'm gonna start school when I go to shore. And then the thing about that is you don't know what type of leadership you're gonna have, what the schedule will be, if the schedule is going to change. So the best thing to do is to try to look into it and act on it. That's one. An additional one is, if you don't plan on going to school at all, there are certifications that you can pursue. There's Navy cool, Army cool, Air Force cool. There's all these different cools to where you can get a free certification. PMP, PHR, which I have, Scrum Master, personal training. I was able to get my personal training through there. There's that. Okay, setting aside a degree in certification. If you're just going to transfer your benefits to your dependents, your spouse or something like that, you got to know when you can do that. There is a cutoff. So if your whole spiel is, you know what, I don't know about, going to school, I'm going to transfer my benefits to my kids. You got to do that at a certain time. So I urge service members to make sure they pay attention to that. And at community college, man, I came from a community college, Coastline Community College. So I always mention that first, more so for the associate's degree to become a more polished student. But then also, like, you don't have to go to a community college in order to get the degree. You can go there and get one of those certificates, but it exposes you to a college lifestyle. You're walking around other students. You have to be responsible for going to class. You're understanding that it's a difference between, high school and college, because you got to submit these assignments at certain times, and just things like that. I just urge people to look into things. If we sit and we wait for something to fall in our lap, by the time you get old enough and you understand self-awareness about yourself, not to, have some pitch, regret is a mug. And then me personally, I didn't want to be sitting down a line, not receiving job opportunities and things like that. And I wish I would have did more, because I experienced that a lot when talking to people. Oh, and this is the big one, the add-on. understand the difference between school accreditation and school type. Meaning University of Phoenix, nothing against University of Phoenix, but they're a for-profit school, but they're regionally accredited through WASC. Some people confuse the two. So what happens is if you go to a school that's not, it's not regional or national anymore after February, I think last year, they put both of those up under accredited. But if you go to a school that's not accredited and the job description says from an accredited 4-year, but you went to like a distance learning or maybe a vocational, and they don't accept that, the first thing a lot of people do is, man, see, school is a scam. I got this piece of paper and it didn't mean anything. So you got to understand the difference between for-profit, private, non-for-profit. Don't confuse the two and understand that accreditation does matter. So
Gotcha. So first of all, looks like we got another grown-up in the building. He says, Semper Fidelis. Ra, what's going on, though, dog? And says the intro was amazing. He thought that when he came on, he saw you pose, and he thought it was a picture. That's funny right there. And he says, let me call my lift, and the Navy shows up. Man, they take us somewhere, they drop us off, and we're like, hey, look, just circle the block till we call you back. Call you to come get us. That's it.
I got love for the Marines, man. Like I did a video about that. You told me about. That's how I started doing pull-ups.
Jokers. That's it. My guy Joey Echeverria, what's going on, Joey? Glad to have you, man. You need to hit that rewind function so you can check out John Offreda from Major Fitness. But right now we got Michael Brantley, Dr. Michael Brantley on here. We're about to actually talk about your physical fitness journey because quite frankly, you're not in the service anymore. You don't have to do an annual PFT. You don't have to do, even as an NCO, I'm like you kind of, and every NCO sadly doesn't feel this way, but you present yourself a certain way when you're leading troops or whatever. You stand in front and I teach a class to people in the military, but you don't have to worry about any of that. At the same time, you said that it was important to you. Like you've gotten benefits out of being physically fit. So talk to me about what do you see as the benefit for you in your job in terms of being physically fit?
It goes back to, before here at USNCC, I was the recruiter. Well, first I was HR, but at San Diego State, I was the recruiter for the Army ROTC program. And in a nutshell, it was a personal thing. I was never an Army officer or anything like that, but I said, okay, I'm going to get the education. And when I'm talking to you about these requirements, I need to have that look. And there is a fitness requirement in order for me to award you a scholarship, bring you into the program, you to be successful. When I'm talking to potential applicants, these high school seniors that are like rock star, quarterbacks that don't plan on, going to the NFL, but they're the student body president. They also play, water polo. I'm telling you, in order for me to give you this, this free ride scholarship, that you got to meet these requirements. And it's a personal thing for me that I at least want to look the part. And if I had to, I would get out there and do that ACFT with you and burn you up, which I probably wouldn't. But that was that standard. And then with the same with the USNCC, I haven't seen the verbiage, but I know with tuition assistance, if you fail a fitness weigh-in or a PRT, I don't think you'll have that internal requirement that was met in order for you to be able to use this incentive. So if I'm talking to students and it comes up when we have bookings that we do virtually, and it'll be like a one-on-one teams and the education to come up and, something else will come up. Well, how do you find time to work out with this? And I was that guy, like, it's not a flex or bragging, but out of the 10 degrees, 7 of those was when I was active duty on deployment. Like I was taking those classes and I just had to find the time to strategize what I needed to do in order to get it done. So I think it plays very well into it. If I'm speaking to you about discipline, it doesn't just have to be about the educational bag, or if I'm just doing real estate. I think when you walk into a room, whether we believe it or not, there is judgment. And if I'm talking to you about being the best that you can, I think presentation matters. But that's personal opinion. It comes off, it can be very off-putting, but that's how I truly feel.
All right. So yeah, I feel that way because it's like, no pun intended. I didn't actually mean that. But because I don't stand in front of Marines anymore, and I still feel it. Like, all right, the reason why I'm like I'm working towards getting in better shape, cutting my waistline down, body fat going down, is because doing what I do, I'm like, I could tell you all day good information, but you're not listening. It like, I don't know if any, like, you ever heard, like, it's kind of like your eyes can block your ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect analogy.
You know what I mean? Like, your eyes can block you. So what you see makes you stop listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't want my appearance to be an obstacle to what I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Because then I'm not actually serving my purpose to help people. At the same time, so you said you actually, let's go ahead and we got a couple comments, and then I want to talk about how you made your decision to change your physique because you were like 300 pounds, right? And
Yeah. I came in. I was very active in high school. Joined the Navy, and my start to working out story wasn't like typical people. 2000. That's when I started working out.
okay,
And it was because I was hanging out with this chick. We was watching Best Man, and she was like, "How come you don't work out?" Like,
yeah, there
and
you
that's
go.
why
All right, good enough.
that's how I
So
started
look,
working out.
I started working out because my girlfriend at the time, we went to the gym, and she could bench 135,
Oh
and
man,
and I tried to do it. I was like, well, I don't work out, but I'm a man. Okay,
yeah,
she had to pull it off my chest, and
yeah,
I said, that's never happening again. So
yeah,
first,
man.
I didn't go to the gym with her anymore. I snuck to the gym when she wasn't there. Let's just start there. All right. I just said it ain't ever happening again. Pay attention. All right.
Yeah,
You don't get to come along. All right. But that's really how my journey started in 1993. But anyway, so let's see here. So Rory, who's actually in the Army Reserve, in the Guard, National Guard.
yeah,
Excuse me. He said, "Thank you." He said somebody parked a car in this dude's gym because he see the car over at your shoulder.
man, dude.
You got quite the setup. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on, but you got quite the
Yeah,
setup, man.
I
And
told my
actually,
girl, man, it's about to get up out of here. We got about to get up out of here in that whole area. Nah, we
oh, the
HOA
car.
around here, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
You said the car's getting okay. I was like, that's about to get up out of here. I know you're not talking about the gym's about to leave. Okay,
Oh no,
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 no.
no, 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 no.
Okay. And then my guy, consecrated tech, former Marine as well, says the Navy answers. You call a lift, the Navy answers says hurry up and wait. That's hilarious right there. That
That's
shots
the
fired.
saying, man.
Bold as Lions says, as my name says, Bold as Lions went to get credit from one college, then went to Phoenix. Excuse me, nothing was accepted. He said he went
Yeah,
to talk back to the first college. They said the same thing, said it was bad. So he had a bad experience. Referring back to what you're saying, like making sure your college is, if possible, nationally accredited. He said
yeah.
that he became an autodidact.
So
Uh,
now the thing with that is now those credits should matter. As long as it's been past 7 to 10 years, because if you 7 to 10 years, there's things you got to do if you haven't taken the class. You can request for you to petition those classes in because the schools want their money.
oh,
But
of course.
yeah, there's a lot of little things that I had to figure out. I had left a couple of schools quick fast when I started, catching some fish in it. So I went to one school to work on my bachelor's of business administration, and they were trying to offer me a film class. I don't want to take anything about film, but that's when I had left that school and got with some mentors, and they was like, "Nah, that if this seems sketchy, it probably is." So
Got you.
that makes sense.
Rory said, he said, I guess he says he got his NASM certificate with benefits and
Yeah,
associates and a bachelor's using the GI Bill and TA. He said, I'm also working on getting my master's using only TA. So the
yeah,
benefits are great and they need to be used. 100%. Like I said, man, we got a lot of veterans who you get a lot of veterans who are in the home gym community. And then, got a fair amount who watch the show. So I knew that the information you give out, that's why I put your contact information there, because I know people are going to want to reach out to you, even if all they have is a question. Um, Rory says, I'm also looking into getting a CAD and a welding cert. What are you going to do
hmm
after lunch, Rory? You going to do all that? What are you going to do after lunch? Um, so let's go ahead and talk about, like I said, you were 300 pounds. You like 6'1"?
I'm 6 foot. I'll
Six
take,
foot?
yeah, I'll take
6 foot,
6'1" though.
300 pounds. All right. And you're like, all right, I can't walk around looking like chewed bubblegum anymore. So you decided to
Laundry
change it.
bag, dude.
Huh?
A laundry bag. So yeah, man,
Yeah,
It
I'm
started, I
picturing
was
that,
in
you know,
great
that
shape.
mesh laundry bag we had to carry over my shoulder.
Yeah, I look like that. I was that.
The lumpy clothes. Oh, that's
Uh,
horrible. That's nasty
and
work.
it
Um,
was a reflection of, I think it was a reflection of my habits. So
yeah.
I was 2004, I was young 20s, eating right. I was still drinking, but I was in the best shape. And then I got orders to, Norfolk, Virginia. Shout out to Norfolk, right? And
Okay.
as soon as I got out there, I broke my hand. And,
Oh man, that's
that
not good.
slowed everything down. Broke my right hand. I'm on the ship and I had a top rack. So if anybody knows anything about that, that's crazy work. We was out to sea. So we putting bags on my hand to take a shower and then
Yeah.
because they're not capable, there's no capabilities to really make a cast on the ship. It didn't heal right. So then the hand, they had to re-break it again in Portsmouth Hospital. So I was just out of the game. And then, that great shape I was in, 198 pounds, I got into this relationship, drinking all the time. Everybody else's, I was just taking on everybody else's, whatever was going on, it was their fault. This is why I can't work out. This is why I can't eat right. And I ballooned up and ended up, back then, that was like 2007. That's when they had these individual augmentees. That's when you was going to like Iraq, Afghanistan, and things like that. So in order for me to get back to California, my master chief was like, yo, if you go to Afghanistan, you can pick your next coast and set orders. And it'll be good for your eval. I said, that's Afghanistan, bro. But I ended up going. I went to Afghanistan and I started, I was 300 pounds. So mid 2007, I had just started walking because I had a buddy that had went. He said, man, you don't want to go out there carrying all that weight, man. You got to carry your bags. You got to be in the tent. Depending on where you end up, you might have to get in that Humvee. You probably have to climb up. It was just a lot. So I started just walking in the mornings, and that's where the initial spark to work out in the mornings happened. Fast forward, got to Afghanistan, had a kidney stone, dude, and I passed them stones in the Afghan bathroom,
Oh,
and that changed my whole direction. So I just started getting up, running around our fob. Shout out to Fob Scorpion. And that became a thing to where I was just doing my cardio, trying to eat right. And it became that morning permanent fixture. Got back home and was living in the city, El Cajon out here, and I kept that up. And then ultimately it just, down the line, I had to stop drinking and really just kind of lock in, especially now that I'm 45. So
so you mentioned a couple of these things already, but you said you kind of like made like some changes. You're like, all right, these are like some absolutes, non-negotiable. These are things that are going to happen
yeah.
each and every day. Um, so you talk about the changing your, eliminating alcohol consumption. You said that basically you work out in the morning. So you like,
Mm-hmm.
I work out in the morning. Uh, and then you also said that you made a dietary change. What are like? Just give us like a quick and dirty. Do you have like a list? Like I called it like Mike's laws for living. Like what are like these non-negotiable things that you said? Okay, when you decided you're going to change your lifestyle and change how you change your appearance and your physical ability, what were the rules that you had to make for yourself?
I realized early on, waking up early, which is not everyone's thing, that works for me, man. Like I'm able to get so much in during what I like to call Mike hours. So I was able to focus on school. At one point in time, I was a single father, co-parenting, and my son, 2 years old, in the room sleep. So I had a treadmill in my living room, but I was able to get up, get a run in, get some homework done, and then get to the ship and things like that. So I knew no matter what, working out in the morning was best for me in my situation. The alcohol was a gimme. I am not someone that's telling people they shouldn't drink. I had some great times while, on that sauce, but it just wasn't beneficial for me and what I was doing. Because if I was, I got to this thing to where I had stopped drinking. At one point, it was every day. And I'm like, I'm just going to drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I was drinking that amount that I was drinking in the week. And I would push it into them, not to make it all dark, but push it into those days and finish off that alcohol Sunday morning. And then next thing you know, I'm on about the week and repeat. I said I had to stop that, when we found out my son was about to be born. But also, if I'm sitting there drinking, I would have the temptation to eat bad. My temptation was low. So whatever diet or whatever I was sticking to during the week, those 3 days, it would kind of just, fall off the map. So I had to remove the alcohol. I'm somebody that thinks that, most diets work if you follow them. I've tried carnivore, keto, paleo. Right now, I stay in a calorie deficit. I keep my protein up. So I'm about 212 as of last week. So I keep my protein up over that. And those are just, I drink water, electrolytes. I take vitamins A through K, heart and soil supplements. I take those. And I stretch every morning. Red light therapy. I got one of those little cheaper pop-up saunas in there to where, I make sure I use that. Cold showers, that tends to help with my joints. I mean, I got a herniated disc. So those are just things that no matter what, they're going to happen. It's not up for discussion, and it's early enough to where it doesn't impact, my family and whatever they have going on. And it's just that they stick. So if somebody asks, I can tell you this is what I do, but it might not be a thing, and I understand that as well.
So we got a question from Home Gym Gaines, and I think it's a valid question because I think a lot of people just don't understand it. We had like the guys, you call them a food blister. We call say yeah, that dude a Punisher buffet, man. But people don't realize that is a thing in the military, and I mean, you got your standards, your height, weight. So I'm gonna let you answer it, and then I'll chime in a little bit. But what Home Gym Physique, wants to know is, I don't mean this in a bad way, but how does the Navy allow someone on duty to gain so much weight and become so out of shape?
Man, I can speak from personal experience. When I was about 260, in between 260 and 280, when I was climbing up to that 300, I was a command fitness leader. I was allowed to be. It was the worst thing ever, right? But for eval purposes, I guess nobody wanted to volunteer to do it. So I'm walking around telling you, get lower on them on them push-ups with my gut hanging out. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Maybe it's a numbers game. I can tell you from on the ROTC side, sometimes things lax out because you want to be able to get people in. And there is the whole thing, and I don't mean to air quote it, but everybody's just not going to be that person like that. It doesn't come as easy. But I do see it. Like I go to Balboa Hospital to, if I go for like appointments sometimes because I got TRICARE, and then I've had to go there to get my federal ID, my CAT card, and you'll see it. And because I was on both sides of it, I know what I needed to do. But also, a lot of people think I attack and I'm tearing you down. No, but I know how I felt when I was like that. I couldn't look myself in the mirror telling you, you need to do this to pass this fitness test. And I knowingly wasn't doing it. And I'm, sticking my neck out and sucking my gut in to make tape. And then I do that. And then I go reward myself eating junk. So yeah, I see it. And it's just unfortunate. But I don't know if they tighten down on it so much, man, it's going to be some numbers hit. If they go back to where they getting rid of people from felon weigh-ins, stuff like that. I had one guy, he was one of the last E5s to be able to retire in the Navy. And this dude, man, 19 years, 260 days, we was on deployment. And he was just real crabby. I wasn't going to say his name. I don't like to say nobody's name. It's like an accent. But he had an attitude for like a week. And I knew what it was instantly. He was on his third weigh-in. If you do your third weigh-in, they getting you up out of there. And I told him, I said, yo, he getting into it with other E5s. And I was the LPO at the time. I said, yo, what's wrong with you? Nothing, man. These booters, they're talking to me like I ain't been in. I said, yo, I know what it is. You got this weigh-in. We don't have to wake up and get it in. Let's lose this weight. And he dropped about 50 pounds. But it was tough. It was. Waking up that early on deployment on the ship. Of course.
Because your job responsibilities don't go anywhere.
Yeah, man. So
you got to just find ways to do it. Oh, yeah, 100%.
We getting up in the morning,
and I also say this too. A lot of people have this impression that, you all work out together. I mean, and yeah, it depends on how motivated, your CO or your first sergeant or whatever it is. But unit PT isn't going to just do it. You know what I mean? Because, and everybody doesn't have an active job. So if you work in admin sitting at a desk, or God forbid, you work in the child hall.
Oh,
you know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And, hey, shout out to the child hall. I had to do a week of child hall duty in boot camp. My knees hurt so bad after staying on the show.
We got to do it for 90 days on the ship. When you get to your first ship, it's called mess cranking.
That is the most miserable time. You don't get any sleep because you know what morning chow is. Just for example, morning chow. Well, you got to get up early enough to make morning chow, so you getting up even earlier. and then it's just miserable. So shout out
You
to everybody
you
that's
smell like your job, man.
yeah, but you also have free, access to food, and
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, now I got to find time to work out. So I'm not giving it as an excuse. I'm just saying that it's possible to do it. And then I've seen some things like where guys are like, hey, you look at the standards, you're like, oh, well, if I'm an inch taller, that gives me extra pounds.
Yeah,
So
man.
you try to figure out ways to get, to kind of game the height, the height
Yeah.
eval. That's before you even get taped. You're like, hey, look, let me just see what I can do to be taller, right? I've seen the tricks. Heck, I've used some of them. You know what I mean?
Man,
But
I used to put hemorrhoid cream with saran wrap, preparation tape
yeah,
around my waist.
yeah, all that stuff. It's just
Yeah,
but
man.
then at the same time, it's also possible to just use your environment
Yeah.
to lose weight because whenever I was in situations where I had to walk everywhere I was going, it was easy to keep the weight off. In fact, then I struggled to keep muscle on.
Yeah.
So it's just it's like being a civilian. You have to make it a priority and you have to do it. But as far as the putting you out because of your weight, the fact is that the dude who might put you out, he might be out of shape too.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, when I do these videos, sometimes people will message me like I'm talking about them, and I never am, but I understand it. Like it's ownership. If you're going to be, and this is my personal opinion, if you're going to be in front of people speaking on discipline and what they should do, I do think you should have that because that same person that you're telling them they need to meet the requirements of that physical readiness test, you might have to process them out. Or you're not going with them because you're not in standards. So
Yeah.
yeah, I see that all the time.
Yeah, it's like it's leading from the front. I can't ask you to do
Yeah.
something that I'm not capable of doing. Roy said I did my AIT in Norfolk. He said to clarify, I'm active duty National Guard. I need to hold on to that active title because as a former active duty guy, I used to make fun of the National Guard. I understand. I completely understand.
All right, man. You should try that ROTC, man. Make that extra money.
Yo, Boulder's Line said it used to run to the Officers Child Hall. It was a great run. And
Yeah.
then Home Gym Physique said in the 1950s, bodybuilding legend Bruce Randall was in the Navy weighing close to 400 pounds, and he ended up making one of the greatest physique transformations ever. I mean, I'm telling you, it's possible to do it. And then also, if you know how to game the system, like you said, it's 3 weigh-ins. So if you know how to game the system, you can make it stretch out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not just an automatic. Like people think that the military is like boot camp, and it's not. Boot camp is boot camp. And once you get out, it's actually harder from a mental standpoint because now you have to be the one pushing yourself.
Uncle
Because
Sam ain't
it
gonna
is
text
very
you and be like,
possible
"Yo,
to
you
get out as
good?"
an E3. It's
Yeah,
very
man.
possible to do 4 years and get out as an E3. Never go anywhere. You just got out and then you're right back where you were on the block. Pretty much your life is unchanged except you older. So there's that. All right, so let's take that. So the thing that I liked about checking out your stuff is you said initially these were lifestyle changes, but after a while they just became like who you were. So like you don't have to make yourself get up early anymore. You don't have to
No.
make yourself do this. It's just in your DNA. That's just part of who you are now. Was this a gradual shift or was it like one day you just woke up and said, you know what? Or
Man,
actually, I say like for me, because remember, so let's go back to I said in 1993 I started working out, so I had my why, but it still sucked because I'm still
Yeah.
lifting weights for the first 3 months or so, and I'm not really seeing any major changes. All I know is I said, man, I ain't getting nothing out of this except being sore, right?
Yeah.
But then what happened is something happened. I wasn't able to go to the gym, and I missed it. And it was just one day, but I
And you feel
missed
like
it.
crap, right?
Man, yeah, there's like, oh, something's missing from my life. And
Yeah.
that's when I knew the change had happened, right? I was like,
Yeah.
this is now who I am. So, and then since 1993, I've not gone more than, not on purpose, of my own free will, I've not missed more than 2 days.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I don't lift weights every day, but not more than 2 days doing something to improve me physically, and I feel that there's a mental benefit and a emotional carryover as well. But I'm just saying, not more than 2 days. So, at what point did you notice that? Was it gradual? Did it sneak up on you, or did you just say, "Hey, I'm seeing these changes incrementally, and like I see the change"?
Not to take it back to alcohol, but it was that. It was I had stopped drinking. We got to the point to where my son was going to be born. And then there was just more clarity for me. So I remember like it was yesterday. My son was Balboa Hospital out here in San Diego. He was born. His mom, my wife at the time, had a C-section. So she was in the hospital for maybe 3 to 4 days, her and my son. And I lived in a city called Ramona, and that's probably 45 minutes away from Balboa, maybe an hour. And he was born, had my bonding time with him. And then I got up the next morning and I went to the Balboa gym. I had already had a gym bag because I was already working out and I'd already stopped drinking. Drove to Ramona. She had some animals. Changed the kitty litter, walked the dog, did a little schoolwork, drove back to Balboa. I did that for like 4 days. And then it kind of stuck. Down the line, went to the ship, had a divorce, but it stuck. Like I don't really wake up on my alarm. It's always around the same time every day. But unless it's like a time change, when the time change happened, it'll hit me, and I'll wake up
Now, I
at
will grant you in bed like 7:45.
about 7:45, 8. Yeah, about 7:45, 8. Man, like people be like, "How do you wake up so early?" Because I go to bed early,
Dude,
like
7:45.
a baby.
Like
Hey,
that.
cats be like, man, like people used to message me 6 o'clock. I'm surprised you up. Like, don't play me like that, man. I'm up. It's 6 o'clock, man. But yeah, I go to bed early, and then my girl knows that you better talk to me about whatever's going on before my head hit that pillow, because I'm out. And maybe that was just being in the Navy, in deck department in the Navy. I was able to fall asleep anywhere. I can stand up and fall asleep. So,
Oh, heck yeah. But my
yeah,
dad is like that too.
yeah,
We go inside, go in the room to go lie down, go to sleep,
you
and he's
out.
go to sleep, right? And people used to be like, "Man," he said, "They're like, oh, you went and lay down and went right to sleep." He said, "Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
came in here to do."
yeah.
Like, why is that surprising? I told you I was
That's the
going to sleep.
task.
Yeah, I don't play around. I didn't come here to read. I can read outside. I can read out there. Yeah, that's funny.
It just sticks. Like
But
I
go ahead.
wake
Go
up
ahead, man.
automatically. I don't. If I do have to, if I know that I'm a little tired, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna lay it back down for like 30 minutes to an hour. But it once I started doing it, it happened. And then with alcohol, it's just like a lot of people say. Sobriety is I know that I'm better without it. So I know that I cannot do it. I'm a donut guy. I just don't eat donuts. I'm talking not Krispy Kreme. We got donut bar out here that make designer donuts, but I pink box. I stay away from them. I keep them out the house because I know me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just certain things that I just know not to do because I know the impact. Yeah, there's temptation, but I'm not taking, my grandfather used to tell me, don't take 5 steps forward to take 15 back. You got to make up that 10. So I just don't do it. And then once I get past it, get the workout in, I get past whatever that temptation is, I'm good. And then I can just, rotate it or whatever. So,
All right, and we're looking right there at the results of the dedication right there. Now let's shift over because I know people want to talk about it. You started your home gym journey because of COVID lockdown, I believe.
yeah.
You were, I'm trying to find the slide, but you were what I call a living room workout warrior.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't the most elaborate setup, although, so what you have now is dramatically different from what you had then.
Yeah.
I think though, man, it's interesting to me because, and I was actually talking about it earlier, the thing that people miss the most, I think, when they get a home gym or they start working out at home is they miss the social network. Because for a lot of people, the gym is the third place,
Yeah.
So you got like two places you got to go: home, work, right? Or if you're
Yeah.
a kid, home and school. But then there's your third place, and that's the place that reflects your personality maybe the most because it's the place you chose to go,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's your third place. For some people, that's church. For some people, that's a bar. For some people, that's the gym. And if the gym is your third place, and then you're forced to give it up, like in the case of COVID, a lot of people couldn't handle that. Like I was
Yeah.
saying, when I worked in a public gym, I I had very few friends, people I could say are friends, who I didn't know because of the gym. All of my friends were because of the gym. most of the people I knew, even not friends but casual acquaintances, were because of the gym, because I didn't go anywhere except home. And then I worked at the gym, so that was work. And then after work is over, I worked out. So that was my third place, right?
Yeah.
You thrived though. You're like, hey, this is good. This is good for me. So tell me, how did you, I don't know, what is it about working at home that kind of clicked for you? Like, you know what? This is
Dude,
what I've been looking
before
for.
COVID, I was against home gyms altogether. I was not that guy. Anytime somebody would bring it up, why would I do that when I got the gym, man? Like I had multiple memberships. It's just that was my thing. I just never connected the two. I felt that I needed that, which is odd because I've always gone to the gym in between 1 and 3 a.m. So it's like a job. It's the same core people, right? The people that work those odd shifts, the occasional younger cat, and the couples, but it's the same. Head nods and fist pumps. We all, kind of the same. The wave of New Year's, new me. That takes a lot to get in there during that time. So when COVID was coming up, it was rumors. So we was like, what are we gonna do? Some people had garages and they had setups. They was good. But a lot of us, man, we was like, it was weird. Like the 24-hour fitness closed down. So we went to Anytime Fitness, but then they had to cover up the windows because you wasn't supposed to be in there. We texting each other like, I heard this spot is letting people in. It was crazy work. And I remember I was working at National University and I was with my coworkers and they sending me articles. They about to close all gyms. What are you gonna do? So I left there because that's when I just got my offer to San Diego State. And I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, got some bands, and I felt good that I was still able to do what I love to do. It wasn't to the same magnitude, but I had got that power tower there. And I had that for about 3-4 weeks before I got anything. And then there was this guy that was just selling wholesale stuff. Had to be illegal and sketchy, but out of his garage. So I was getting dumbbells and got the Bowflex 552s, and then I was up in the middle of the night and I was on the waiting list for the Bowflex 1090s, and I was able to get them, and then they closed it out. So I just started accumulating stuff. But it wasn't dangerous. It wasn't very safe because I'm in my living room, TV right there, and one day my shoulder buckled, almost broke my TV. So, I
Man.
had that going on, but I had a buddy of mine named, but he had his whole setup, and he invited me over to his house one morning. And I worked out in there, and I was like, man, now that I got my focus and I can, get it in, get by myself, I got to get my home gym. And then fast forward, my last condo that I had bought a condo that I had an upstairs neighbor, and she had 2 leaks or something. We had to, I filed 2 insurance claims, and my insurance dropped me in Cali. And because it was known that there would be plumbing issues in that older unit, I met with some brokers, and they was like, it's better to sell, get a different, lower grade insurance, because you got to have insurance when you use a VA loan, and, get something else. So I went from my 2.1 interest rate to where I'm at now. But I said, man, you know what? I'm going all out. I'm gonna get that space that I've been, loving, thinking about. So I moved in here, and then at the gym, those partners, I'm showing them what I got going on, and they looking into it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get this. Look at this. I got the Stairmaster. You say your goodbyes. You say goodbyes to people in the gym. The naked dude that be in the bathroom that like to talk. You say, all right, man, I'm about to go, man. I'm canceling my membership. And then now I'm here, and I ain't been back to the gym. I'm not gonna say that I don't miss it. If I got to travel for something for work, if that ever happens, yeah, I'll go to the gym. But I wanted to make sure I had a space that had everything that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to do that.
So let's talk about what's your first of all, that story you told about, the shoulder thing. That happened to my
Yeah.
uncle.
Oh yeah.
He was cutting corners and somebody gave him a bench. The bench collapsed under him and he fell holding the dumbbell. And he tried to tuck his chin so he didn't hit his head. Ended up
Yeah.
tearing his rotator cuff.
You
So
got
yeah,
limited space in that living room, man.
I'm just like, man. But how did you okay, so all right, Rory, I see your question. I will I'm like looking over here. I got 3 different screens and things are on different things. But I see your question, Rory. I'll answer that as soon as after Mike answers this question. How do you, because you got a pretty nice setup now, we see it over your Actually, I'll let everybody see this. Give you the big screen. You got a really nice setup. How do you decide which brands you want to buy from? Like, are you brand loyal, or you pretty much say, I'm looking at is it more like I need a thing that does a thing, and whoever got it for the best price is who I'm going to get it from?
Yeah, I best price, availability. I'm a role rep. I'm the most unloyal, not in a bad way, but I like it all. Like if I see bells are still, if I know I can get it in ample time, I'll look at the reviews that reflect to what I'm looking for, and that's it. My rack, it gets a bad rap sometime, but it's the jacked up fitness, but it's a 2x3. But when I was in the middle of selling my crib and buying this one, they was doing a walkthrough at my crib, so we had about 3 hours to where we would just had to be out of the house. When you selling the crib at any moment when you're doing a showing, you gotta keep it like it looks in the magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
So my girl was like, I'm gonna go to return these items I bought. What you about to do? Like, man, I can't go. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to the Jacked Up Fitness showroom and see what that rack is about. So I drove out there.
Okay.
They let me play around with the rack, and I said, man, it's cool. I said, yo, I'm supposed to move in on the 1st. You think you can deliver it on that day at a certain time? He said, yeah. So I went with that. I got the Reppins. Reppins probably get a bad rap because, I think we're just going against evolution. People like Bowflex are crap. I used to love them, but now there's something better. So I love the Bowflex. I still got the Bowflex curl joint because I use it. I got the Stairmaster, but I had the stepper. Like, oh, man. And that's on me. If anybody's looking at a Stairmaster, a lot of people say, don't get them, they break. I broke mine because I used to be on the stairs killing it for 3 hours. And I thought the stepper could handle that. It can't. But because I got it through another place, they replaced it, gave me a Stairmaster. Treadmill that I got, I had 1250 Nordic Track when I was running in the living room, and I used to put miles on that thing, so I got the 1750. This like GMWD stuff, never had a problem with it. It's always sturdy, and then I use a shoulder machine and I use an incline machine, and they delivered it quick. Same with the leg press. I have the Grunt Fitness leg curl, whatever I thought was ideal at the time. And if something comes out better and I had a finances for it, I'm gonna swap out. It do get kind of territorial, I think. I think some people say you need to have this. This is trash. Yeah. I really.
Yeah, people like they form tribes. So we're watching right here while you were talking. We're watching the videos of what your gym used to look like back when you were a living room, getting barbaric in the living room. Look at him getting after it with the bands and stuff. Does it help? Because like part of what helps me is remembering that I started my home workout space. It wasn't even a home gym. I started my home workout space with two 70-pound dumbbells, and then the aerobics class at the gym where I had just left that job, which is why I needed to get stuff at the house. Because actually, I'll just tell the story. So I leave the job. I got a job at a Fortune 500 company. Leave the gym to go do that because I wasn't making enough money at the gym. I had a son. I was like, I gotta make ends meet. I'm doing side hustle. We can't do that anymore. So I was like, I need something. And then I had never had a gym membership. To this day, I still haven't had a gym membership ever. Right? Because when I started working out, I was in school. I was in college. Well, I worked out at school. Then right after college, my job was working at the gym. So at first it was working the front desk. Then I became one of the trainers. After I got certified, then I ended up being in charge of the trainers. And so I worked out there. And so I tried to go a couple times, day pass and all that kind of stuff. I said, man, I can't pay to go to a gym. Not after I've, not even the one that I used to work at. It could be a different gym. I just can't do it. Not on a regular basis because I'm like, I can't do it. So, and somebody else is telling me when I can be there. I'm like, I'm paying you and you're still telling me when I can use the thing I paid for. So I'm like, absolutely not. So what I did is I went to Play It Again Sports and I bought two 70-pound dumbbells. And then the gym where my previous employer was upgrading their step blocks for step aerobics classes. They used these handmade wooden step boxes, and they were upgrading to Reebok steps. And so they were selling, people said they wanted the wooden ones for nostalgia purposes. But I was like, I just buy it. It was like $5. I said, I'll take it. So I bought one, and that was my bench.
You got to
So,
get creative, man.
yeah, so anytime, and then my next gym was my first actual home gym was in a shed with a gravel floor, right? Gravel floor, and I had some cast off infomercial junk that people gave me when they found out I worked out at home. It was one of those weeder benches, rickety
Yeah.
thing. I mean, it was horrible, right? But I still remember, I appreciate what I have now because I remember that. So is it easier for you to kind of look at your stuff and be like, hey, this is what I need and this is working for me, and I don't need to follow the trends of what y'all
Yeah.
think is popular? Because I remember sitting in my living room using a band for leg extensions, leg curls. Does that make that a little
Yeah.
easier?
It do. I sometimes you'll post something. Man, I got a new item, check it out. I like it. And people are like, well, I like this one better. Bro, I didn't have, go post that on yours, man. But yeah, like it do. I come down here, man, in the mornings and I do my walk in the evenings. But sometimes I come down here, I'll bring my work computer down here. It's just about being down here, what I have access to. Everything that I have is tailored to what I do. And if somebody asks me about it, like I'm gonna do a review on the stepper versus the stairmaster, if that's your thing. But yeah, it's just I know what I came from. I know what I didn't have access to, and then when I did, I had some stuff that I accumulated, but it was in a small space. And you would do 4, 5 sets. I had picked my 100-pound dumbbells up, take them back to the shed. I got to fold the bench if I'm tired. Then I still got to run
Yeah, yeah,
outside on the stairs and do cardio. I said,
yeah.
man, when I get the opportunity. So when we was looking at houses, my girl would go look at everything. I would go straight to the garage with the measuring tape. And this is a
There
pretty
you go.
decent sized garage, but it's a tandem with a bump. So it's like where I am, it's like a 18 by 20 right there, and then she still got room to park her truck. So I got my space, and yeah, I'm just not loyal. Like whatever works for me and within my pricing, and customer service is a big thing as well. But I understand stuff happens. Like that's why I like it. Even with the Reppins and the Black Widow cart, like I love that cart. Considering I don't know how to put stuff together, my handyman is he did
Yeah.
all this stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, I understand. So we're checking out that gym right there. Got a whole bunch of stuff in the background. I'll go ahead now. Let me answer Rory's question before I forget. So he said, and I'll leave this up so that you guys can see Mike getting after it in his gym. That's where he's normally watching the show, by the way. He's normally watching the show from there. So that's why he's not active in the chat, because he's active in his gym during the thing. Kind of like Jared. Jared's another person who works out while watching the show. So Rory said, did you find that your workout suffered since you worked at the gym? When I train people at the gym, I remember a workout getting interrupted all the time because all the members knew me. So yes, but what I did was I was there all day, right? Because remember, that was my full-time job. So I was there about 9 hours a day, right? And people used to actually ask me, and well, when do you work out? I never see you working out. And I was like, yeah, because so then I started, on purpose, I would pick times when I would work out so they could see me do it. But I didn't want to get interrupted. So unless I knew I was going to need a spot, I would work out at a time when it was the least active. Because, every gym has those times when there's a lull. So,
mm-hmm.
for example, you got the lunchtime rush. Well, then everybody goes back to work. And the gym's pretty empty for an hour. And then we would get kids coming in because one of the things I did was homeschool kids used our gym as their PE. So they came to me and I would teach them, I run a class for them. I was their PE teacher for these homeschool kids. Well, they came at 2. So the lunch rush is over at 1. I got from 1 to 2 to get my workout in. Or the morning rush, usually they get out by about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they're gone. Really, 10 o'clock, there's nobody in the gym, but they start picking back up at 11. So I would pick the times when I knew it was lighter. And again, it depended on what I was doing that day. So maybe if I'm squatting, I may not, it's ironic because I wouldn't necessarily get a spot if I was squatting, but if I was benching, I used to get a spot because I could never figure out like well, there's the fear factor, but then also it was a gym. So, gyms don't have, a lot of times they don't have safeties on the bench. And I've actually dropped, it wasn't like the heaviest thing, but it was heavy enough that I didn't ever want it to happen again. I remember I was benching and I dropped 205 on my chest. And I was like, yeah, we don't ever want that happening again. So I was doing one of those, let me go ahead and drop this on here. So I was using a suicide grip because this guy told me, I'd be able to bench more. And I was, there's more tricep recruitment when you're benching with a false grip. But the problem is, as you're pushing, and I'll just do this for people who like that grip, you start out and you want it stacked. Once you pushing, a lot of times you end up doing like that. And the bar fell right off of my hand. Boom. Now, fortunately, I was blessed because it happened when I was at lockout. So my chest was flexed up. I wasn't even trying to flex my chest up. It's just, natural that my chest was flexed a little bit. So when I dropped it, even if I had spotted it, wouldn't have been able to catch it. Hit me in the chest, and man, that hurt so bad. The doctor was telling me, he said, yeah, you might have cracked your sternum. I'm like, well, what? I said, what can you do to fix it? He said, nothing. You just got to heal. What? So I would never bench when there weren't other people around, because even if you fail, now you got to do the notorious roll down, you know what I mean?
Your life flashed before your eyes, don't it?
Yeah, so I always made sure I benched when there were people around, and people around who knew how to spot. So that was a very long answer, but basically that's what I would do, because I was there all day. I would just, depend on what I was working that day, I would try to find a time when people weren't around, unless I needed a spot, and then I would make sure I worked out at a specific time when people weren't going to be talking, when like some certain people who I knew were serious were in there. Because again, I'm at work, so I can't be, they wanted me to work out, but I couldn't just be in there just hanging out talking to you and not lifting. It's fine if I'm done lifting and I'm talking to you, because now I'm spotting you, but that's how you get your workout ruined real quick, because you're taking too long, whatever. So there was that. So I hope that answered your question, Roy. I appreciate the question. Nobody's actually ever asked me that. At least not since I left the gym. Well, heck, they didn't even ask me in the gym because they didn't care. They didn't care about the quality of my workout. They're like, hey, can you come spot me? I remember I was squatting multiple times. I'm squatting and somebody walk up to me. I'm literally at the bottom. Hey, man, when you get done, can you come spot me?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not even trying to think about you right now. I'm going back over my life choices, trying to make sure I can get up. I can stand back up. You over here trying to interact with me. Go away. But,
you can't make no eye contact, man. That's what I do.
Don't be somewhere else. I'm just trying to, But yeah. Anyway, so that was that. Mike, man, I want to make sure I'll let you get on with your day. So we're going to say maybe one of the most important questions of this segment. How can people follow you? And if they have questions about the USNCC, or like I said, just education in general, because you've got 7 degrees.
I got 10.
10 degrees. Hey, don't forget my other 3. So you've got 10 degrees, including your doctorate. So you're a very good source of information. So if you want to contact you, if they want to follow you, because your Instagram account is very funny. I showed my wife the thing where you said, like, how do I entertain myself on the weekends? And it was like you entertaining yourself. I said, there's something wrong with this dude, man.
I ain't got no sense, man.
It's like, So I highly encourage y'all to go check him out on Instagram. So in order for them to do that, they got to know where to go. So how do people connect with you, and how can they follow you? And if they got a question, how do they reach out?
Well, that link that you shared, that dot card, has all my social media in there. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram. I just got on TikTok not too long. I never really messed with it, but there's military students on there, a lot of them. But more so Instagram and things like that. But that dot card has everything in it. Any workshops that we're holding for the current job, it'll have at the top the website, academic calendars. Sometimes I funnel like content into there that I'll make that just tells you, I try to keep the content short to make it easy on the eyes and things like that. A lot of times it just be weird, whatever's funny to me. But yeah, that link right there. So everything's pretty much in there. If you had any questions about benefits that I use, and some of them might not be available, but from tuition assistance, GI Bill, Chapter 30, Chapter 33, FAFSA, BOG waiver, California Promise Grant, scholarships, I kind of used it all. I maximized it. So if you got any questions, let me know.
All right, my man. I said I appreciate you being on here. And the next thing I need you to do is go back to LinkedIn to accept my connection request.
Got
I
you.
just sent it to you. Anyway, but yeah, man. And let me say this too before I let you go. I don't do a good enough job with it. If there's anything, he's worth. We're not worthy, but he is. But I don't do a good enough job of this. If there's something that you want to promote, you say, hey man, can I come on the show? I just want to get this information out there. Please just don't hesitate to reach out. Because I think what you do for our fellow veterans and for service members like my sons, I think is priceless. So anything I can do to help out with that, please let me know. Like I said, I'm happy to promote the stuff. And it's my pleasure. I'll be honored to help out with that. So thanks again for spending your time on here, man. And
thanks for having me.
All right. Later, man.
All right. I'm good.
All right. So that was my guy, Michael Brantley. And let's see here. Rory said, no, they definitely didn't care. I've had that same question asked me. I'm telling you, man, they don't care nothing about your workout. They don't care about your workout. They don't care. In fact, they hope they end up looking better than you. So if they end up ruining your workout, that kind of, mission accomplished. Anyway, that was a great show. Once again, thank you guys for being here. We got one segment left, and it's ironic that Rory is on here because we're going to do react and respond. So let's just go ahead and let's take a look at this. All right. I think it's important that we get, I'm here to show the people what's going on. I want y'all to understand, I don't want the wool pulled over your eyes, okay? Because we got somebody saying something that I'm not sure is entirely 100% accurate, and he's here in the chat. So first of all, y'all see that these exist. Y'all see that grass flip-flops, okay? Y'all see these grass flip-flops? So we're reacting and responding to these grass flip-flops. So first of all, how many that Rory Ellis sells what he calls antibiotic flip-flops? And when I saw that, I said, I wonder if this is a collaboration between Roman Strength and grassflipflops.com. And if it isn't, who thinks it shouldn't? Don't y'all think that it should be a collaboration between Rory Ellis, between Roman Strength and grass flip-flops? It could be an upgrade to the anabolic flip-flops. Also, there's apparently a grass flip-flops community. I didn't know that till yesterday. Excuse me. I didn't know that till yesterday, but there is a grass flip-flops community. I have not found out any more information than that the grass flip-flop community exists. I invite all of you to go look up grass flip-flops. But do you think there's a Discord that gets outraged if there's a grass flip-flops knockoff? Excuse me, if somebody releases a knockoff grass flip-flops product, because I found quite a number of these grass flip-flop products. And also, a final question. Yes, it is allergy season for me. So yeah, I'm sneezing a little bit. And also, so Joey, I don't think you were on, but Tuesday morning, I left Georgia, drove to California. So I drove through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and then California. So my immune system has been exposed to all sorts of different plant seeds and dusts, different varieties of dust over the past day because got there, got to California, hung out with my son, my daughter, and my grandkids, my granddaughter, my grandson, and then next morning got on the plane, flew back to Georgia. From Georgia, we drove up here to Virginia Beach. So that's that's a lot to handle. But yeah, and yes, that is a long drive. Yikes, that was a hike. But anyway, let's scroll. Let's scroll back here. I found the truth is coming out. Roy says it's been a long time collaboration. I've been keeping it hush hush because of numerous NDAs. The grass flip flop community is legit. FYI, Roman strength grass flip flops are hypoallergenic. I mean, I hope so, man. I hope so because I literally just, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share my screen right now one more time because this is what I post on Instagram. I saw that in a gas station or at a truck stop in Arizona, and I was like, "How bad is the situation here?" First of all, there's no grass on the ground where in Arizona. Apparently, there's no grass on the ground. There's cactus. There's cacti. There's more than one cactus. There's cacti, but no grass. Okay, cacti, dust, rocks. The end. All right, the occasional armadillo, but they got these. So I said, these people are miss grass so much, they got fake grass on the top of the sandal. So you can feel like you're walking on your lawn everywhere you go. I was like, okay, you do you. No, I didn't buy one. But then I had a epiphany, and I said, well, what's going on with this grass flip flop? So I said, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna look this up. So I'm gonna show you with me because I want y'all to know I'm not making this up. Grass flip flops. Boom. Look at that. There's grassflipflops.com. I'm okay. The selling point is enjoy the freedom of having soft, cushy grass between your toes all the time. What I love is, what is the point of grass flip-flops? Under the people also ask. I absolutely love that. Now, if you go on Amazon, you see that, oh my God, baby, they got grass slides. No. Anyway, so you know what? We're gonna go to grassflipflops.com. We're just gonna do it. All right. The high quality durable sandals. They look like grass. Yeah. And so they're made using rich synthetic grass bonded to a pair of plastic flip-flops with a custom logo on the bottom. Yeah, that's a lot. And they are shipping in the US. So anybody who needs this URL, hey, just let me know. But I wanted to kind of let's go. I wanted y'all to see the options. So there we go. This is what I consider to be, this is the final straw, okay? They have them in camo, which I feel is redundant because it's already grass, okay? It's already grass. How bad do you need to hide your foot? I mean, that's what you need. Camo, because camo grass flip-flops, and you're supporting the military with every purchase. That's your sales pitch, Rory. I'm trying to help you, okay? I'm just trying to help you, because I feel that everybody's trying to find that thing that's going to be their breakthrough. Rory, I feel like that's your breakthrough. Camouflage grass flip-flops. Rory said Roman strength grass flip-flops are made of 100% organic, vegan, non-GMO, and gluten-free, free-range, cage-free Tennessee grass. And that is where we need to end the show because we have gone way too far. Hey, next week we got Matt Burrs. He is the president of Expodium North America. Expodium is a brand that provides lifting belts, knee sleeves, and other fitness gear to CrossFit boxes, physical therapy clinics, and home gym owners who are serious about fitness. And so Matt's going to come on. We connected on LinkedIn. That's actually where I discovered him. He's going to come on and tell us all about his business. And I'm actually especially interested to find out his take on the most recent sale. I don't know if it's sold yet or not, but CrossFit is up for sale again. So I'd like to hear Matt's take on it, if that's affecting his business at all, or anything like that. Make sure you guys follow at Garage Gym Life on Threads, because that's where I give you guys the latest information about what's going on with the show and who's going to be on. All right. Appreciate you guys being here. And once again, make sure you don't just, I need you to like, I need you to subscribe. I need you to share this video link with at least one other person who you think might enjoy it. All right. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks again. Peace out.